What's going on, everybody? It's the end of the world. Just kidding. It's the end of the year. How's everybody doing? We have a pretty short show planned, but a fun one. I've got an actual list of things I want to discuss tonight, so make sure you hang around for the entire show. We don't have a ton of announcements to go over, but there's a lot of topics that come out over the year that don't really fit either shows. Tonight is where we air all of those grievances. That most of them are not grievances, but we're going to discuss. And I'm hoping you in the chat will be incredibly active. And with that, I am going to make sure that I share this. Make sure you hit that like button on the stream and be active in the chat. Say hello and hang out. I did say that I was going to not have a guest tonight. However, with the way that we have been all leading up to this random Shelf Shock Rewind Awards that we've been planning for the whole second half of the year, I figured what better way to end the year than going over somebody that always goes over the announcements with me. We're going to bring in Stephen Billings of Chasing Labels, and he is muted. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
There I am.
There you go.
Wow. How do I sound now? I can hear myself now. That's great. Just having some tech issues, but leading like 30 seconds in, and now I got it. Now I can hear.
Perfect timing. Steven, what's been going on?
Oh, just taking a little break. Chasing Labels didn't have an episode last week, and we won't have another one this weekend. And just trying to chill. I watched a few new movies this week. I really don't get a lot of chances to watch films that came out in the year.
Right.
So this week I've watched, I think, 4 new movies. It's amazing.
What'd you watch?
The Fabelmans I watched last night.
Nice.
I watched a Nolan Ryan documentary because I'm a big baseball fan. I love baseball, and I watched a Nolan Ryan documentary called Facing Nolan. It's on, I think, HBO Max. I watched Banshees of Inisherin. Love that. That was great. I love that. And then there was something else I watched, but I'm forgetting it. But God, what did I watch last week with my wife? Never mind. That's how quickly my mind leaves. The movies sometimes just leave.
Right.
It's just been good. Just kind of not putting the pressure on myself to watch things for the show, which I love. I love the curation that the labels do for me. It really keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me discovering new things. But it's good to take a break from it for a minute and just watch you do all the work still. So
well, hopefully there's not too much work tonight. I think we only got like 15 announcements this entire week, and even that's kind of stretching it a little bit.
It's kind of why I take this time, because I know that usually the labels take a break too. So I kind of use this the last couple weeks of the year to just be like, this is the best time. We won't get too behind when we come back. So
Steven listed some recent watches, and I am home this week without work, and my kids are off, which means my watching time is cut drastically down to nothing because I can't watch anything during the day that is over maybe a really light PG-13, and in most cases it's got to be PG because my kids are crazy. But the one thing I watched this week is very kid friendly, and I'm gonna rave about it for a quick second. I just want everybody to check it out. I loved Encanto when it got released. I think that was 2021, and I attached to it very quickly. I thought the animation was great, the music was incredible. Just in the last couple days, they released on Disney Plus the live Hollywood Bowl performance of the Encanto songs, where they got the original voice cast to come in and perform, had this incredible set, and I gotta admit, it was impressive as hell. Absolutely loved it. I hope people go watch it because it's fantastic. Not something that we would normally talk about on this channel, but my gosh, I was thrilled to see it.
I'm a big. I love Pixar. I've always loved Pixar, but I'm honestly a little behind. I think I've missed the last couple. Like I haven't seen Turning Red yet. I know a lot of people like that one. Encanto, I don't believe I've watched yet. I think the last one I watched was what's the one where you had the jazz player that died. Yeah, I watched. I think that's the last one I've seen is Soul.
Soul was great.
Yeah, you say what you will, like some people might say that they've fallen off a little bit, but God damn it, if they didn't have the best streak of great films
For the
you know,
longest time.
yeah, and so, you know, they're in a period, you know, they went through a period where they did a lot of sequels, you know, and I, you know, you understand it's Disney. They're
Right.
it's all about sustaining the Disney name. But you know, they've taken some interesting swings lately, I think, and that's all you can ask for. And it's, yeah, I mean, I'll be excited to eventually get around to it. I got Disney Plus. I'll eventually get around to them. So
The best part, it's only 45 minutes.
well, damn. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was an immediate watch solely based on that. I normally go over pickups, and I haven't had too much recently to really share. But one that I think people have been feeling a lot because we got a few delays on one title. I got this random super old order in from Diabolic because Dragons Forever 4K had been delayed. Maybe 1924 times, something like that. So this is finally here. But the greatest thing is it came with a bunch of releases that I was dying to see, and they have been held up on the same order because I'm patient and I didn't email to get it to get sent in. So I finally got a release from Chameleon. This is breaking news. And I got in the 4K from Blue Underground from earlier this year. God told me to. And then rounding out that stack of super old orders, I finally got in Dr. Lamb. And I can watch what everybody else watched like 7 or 8 months ago, and I'm stoked on that. Other things I wanted to share. It was the week of Christmas, so I got a handful of things from family, and I wanted to share. Since my sister is on the stream, I will share. She sent me She's the Man. Gotta love Amanda Bynes. And she sent me The Craft Legacy that I still have not seen yet. I've heard it's not great, but gotta have it.
Yeah, I'm glad my wife didn't make me watch. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad my wife didn't make me see that movie. She loves the original. I'm glad.
I love the original too.
Yeah, I do too.
My kids went through my Amazon wish list, and one of them picked out Greg the Bunny, The Passion of Greg the Bunny, Volume 2. Don't have Volume 1 yet, but friend of both of our channels, Sean Baker, is the creator of Greg the Bunny. So that's why it was in my wish list. And then little music Blu-ray, Alter Bridge live at Wembley. Love me some Alter Bridge. And then some books. My wife got me Fright Fest Guide, Ghost Movies. And my sister-in-law bought me Satanic Panic.
Oh, yeah.
Edited by Kayla Janice.
Yeah, I just saw that that book just got some restocks into Orbit DVD. And of course, you know, for me on my end, of course, you know that speaking of books and Kayla Janice, I got my you know, House of Psychotic Women book in. So I can't wait to start going through this because I hear there's like just every page you get, you know, new movies that you've never heard of that you're just like, okay, I got to look into this. So that's my bread and butter when it comes to, you know, I just like to overwhelm myself with movies that I will have to wait years to watch. So, you know, but yeah, I got that in, and I'm really excited to get into that. So
last couple from my wife, she got me the Patton Oswalt film book, Silver Screen Fiend. And one that friend of the channel, Kat Ellinger, wrote, the original Daughters of Darkness, her first book that she did by herself. And then just some little nice things to show off. I got a Beetlejuice enamel pin and a little trick-or-treat ornament type thing to hang in the movie room. And then random, but Friday the 13th dice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it, except for this fancy, it's the other way, fancy new light behind me. You can't make out on this recording because it's so small, but it says recording in the disconnected. I thought it was pretty
awesome.
nifty.
I was going to say, I noticed on the videos you recently did, you'd shifted to a corner.
Yeah. The plan has been,
I like it. It looks good.
The plan has been to move for a little while so that I don't have the exact same thing. But the coolest thing is random light up movie poster I get to switch out every once in a while, make it feel fresh. And I'm going to check the comments real quick. Josephine is here, friend of both of our channels, going back to New York. Yeah. First time watches. I wanted to shout out, That Thing You Do is freaking incredible. I love that movie. The Day Trippers too. I love music. That's the biggest thing. Let's see. We got Stan Geezy in the chat. What's going on? Bruiser, haven't been able to make a live in a long time. What's up? Antoine and Dustin. Terry's here. I think Cam signed in from Twitch and YouTube. What's going on? Ken and Zach from They Live by Film. Hello. Anthony saying hi to my dog, Asuda. What's going on, everybody? Bren is here. Eric. Dave Jones, what's up? John Peters finally got Shawscope Volume 2. Have you started to dive into that yet?
God, I'm not no, I did a little bit. I did a little bit in a kind of a weird way because before I had, submitted my votes for Shelf Shock Rewind, I wanted to look into that set, and I'd gotten it pretty early because Orbit had gotten some in, so I snagged one and started watching some of the features in that. So I've watched some features on that, but none of the movies.
Right. What's going up, Ruben and Dead Sea Life? Hey, Brian is here live. What's going on, Brian? Paul, my friend, and then Blake is here. What's up? Is this the Festivus episode of Reconnected? That I think was last week by the Seinfeld calendar. Either way, thank you for being here, Anthony. John Peters, what's going on? Sardis is back, thawed out, and ready to watch. He had a pipe burst in Texas. Hope everything is well there. Here's my sister. What's going on? Let's see. Let's see. Want to show my kids Prince of Egypt and Mouse Hunt. I watched Mouse Hunt with my kids last year, I think. Amazing movie. Amazing.
Yeah, I love Mouse Hunt. It's God, it's one of them underrated children. That's going to be definitely an early watch for my daughter.
It's so slapstick.
It's so slapstick. Nathan Lane is just amazing. Nathan Lane in that time, he was really just underrated. Birdcage and of course his voice work. With Lion King and things like that. I mean, love Nathan Lane.
We need a good release of Birdcage for sure.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Bruiser, God Told Me To goes so hard. I can't wait to see that 4K. That's one of my. I swear it's got to be top 3 Larry Cohen for me. Stan, I thought Luca from last year was wonderful and Turning Red was terrific. Luca is great. I loved how much they highlighted the Italian culture there. Brian, what's going on? John is amazed that the family buys presents and not gift cards. Let's see. Greg the Bunny looks like a Spencer pick. It absolutely was. Let's see. Josephine wants to know, are there bunnies around where we live? Absolutely here.
Yeah.
I think there's rabbits everywhere.
I mean, hopefully not like the one that's on the cover, but yeah, I mean, I don't want any demonic rabbits, But I mean, yeah, I mean, we got them sometimes.
Let's see. Josie says, what's your favorite fictional band in a movie?
Favorite fictional band in the movie? It's hard for me not to say, Stillwater from Almost Famous,
yeah,
because it's one of my favorite films. I will say that I really love, because I'm a big fan of Joe Carney's, what I like to call the Love and Music trilogy. I made that up. I coined that, which is Once, Begin Again, and then Sing Street, which I love the band Sing Street in that film. So a lot of great ones, of course, but that's just a personal favorite of mine. But Stillwater's probably the number one for me.
I'm curious if it even counts now because they've toured as a real band and played lots of shows, but I have to go to Spinal Tap.
I was going to say, I think that's where you're going.
I adore Spinal Tap. That's the exact type of comedy I was raised on, so it's certainly my favorite.
Yeah.
Let's see. Terry wants Meet the Feebles on Blue, please. Hello from my mom. What's going on, Mom? John says he showed his 10-year-old daughter Terrifier 2.
Jesus Christ. Wait a second. Did you show her Terrifier 1 first though? Because that's you don't mess it up. Don't show them at now. I'm more worried about that you showed it out of order than you messed up your.
No, she probably saw that the day it came out.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to get into the announcements tonight. Steven's going to hang out for that, but first we wanted to talk about some Shelf Shock Rewind stuff while we got the biggest glut of people. We are just about the halfway point on voting, and we wanted to just remind everybody that it's out there. We have had the ballot up and running for today is exactly 2 weeks. I totally forgot. The day that you were here last was the launch date, so it's been exactly 2 weeks. In that time, we have received literally multiple hundreds of responses. We have multiple hundreds of ballots filled out. It's not a staggering thousands and thousands like I would love it to be, but it is a great amount, and it's nice to see the community engaged. The overall results have not been looked at yet, which I'm dying to cheat, and I've almost cheated like 4 times, but I've made myself hold back. The link to vote is being posted in the chat, so make sure if you get some free time that you click on that and vote by January 15th. Steven, you voted very quickly. Any of your picks that you wanna throw a ring in the hat or a hat in the ring for? A ring in the hat.
You mean any picks I want to take back now that I've bought some more? No, I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, of course, there are some things that I could have maybe waited on, but I felt pretty strongly about my picks. And I mean, we know from the last time I was on that Out of the Blue is obviously, I mean, I want that to win everything.
Yep.
But I mean, a lot of good stuff. I've been watching the votes coming in, and you're asking me one of my picks for something.
Is there something
Right
that
now?
you want to throw your weight behind to get people to vote with you?
God, I already did Out of the Blue. What else should I do? So let me see. And you're putting me on the spot.
I'll answer while you think then, because
Okay.
I've been putting out some best of videos already.
Okay.
I think I've put out 2 today. It might have been 3, and 1 yesterday, and I've got more already scheduled to go up tomorrow and the next day. But going through everything again and watching some comments come in today, I was reminded while I was making the video how great the packaging is for this Wolf of Wall Street release, and the whole wallet aesthetic and the cocaine on the inside and the cards that come out. This is really unique. Like, not a lot of companies would have gone so far as to print up credit cards with references to the movie that come out of the packaging. That I imagine that actually cost quite a bit for Arrow to put in the packaging, and not like trying to side with the label to say, oh my God, they should be voted for because they spent a couple pennies more. But over a couple thousand releases of that film, I imagine that choice was probably a little expensive and something that they had to debate around a table somewhere for a little while. Very curious to see people's feedback on that. Unfortunately, it's not on the ballot because more people nominated some other titles, but I might write that one in. I really fell in love with it, and I still haven't voted yet. I'm waiting for a few more days. I've got some other stuff I'm trying to get in through the end of my vacation, but yeah, that one, love the packaging on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They do win a little extra on that one. It's tough. I was just thinking about what release did it not really get as much love as I'd like. I would say one thing is I would like to see something from Indicator. Make sure Indicator wins something, because I don't feel like it got as much love as they had. I know their year was a little. They had to push back some things, and so it kind of affected their year overall. But they still had some great releases. I would say one of the main ones I'd like, it's the whole release overall isn't necessarily the most attractive release, but I really love The Swimmer and the film, and there's a really great commentary on there. And I know there's other great commentaries, maybe even ones that I liked more than this one, but I believe it's Scott Harrison did the commentary, and it's fantastic. I might be wrong. I'm sorry if I am, but it's a really great commentary. I really love that movie, and I love that release, and that would be one that I would maybe champion a little bit. So yeah, I mean, but really, Out of the Blue, just whenever.
Chester just commented he ordered Out of the Blue based on your recommendation.
Oh, fantastic, man! Great.
What's going on, Wave? Glad to have you. John Peters tried to vote again, but it did not let him.
Son of a bitch.
I built that in. The big thing from Indicator is 2 points. One, I really loved their release of Mad Dog Morgan, and that was a little early in the year, and I feel like people kind of forget that it was 2022. The other thing, I feel like if the Santo set had released, even I know that they had some delays with the Joseph and
Michael J. Murphy
set.
Yeah.
I know that caused some mighty delays from them, and you just had them on the podcast, and they were fantastic. But if that Santo set had released, and even if Michael J. Murphy had still been delayed, I think Santo would have gotten a lot of love on this.
That was definitely, we just had the Vinegar Syndrome Santo Dr. Death, was it Dr. versus Dr. Death release?
Yep.
So the Santo is on the brain, and I think there definitely could have been a chance that any one of them, last couple releases could have been more. And, the other one was the Pemi Organization one was another one that I really loved. They have some really interesting releases, but they just weren't so flashy this year. I wish Indicator would have gotten a little bit more love in the voting, but there's always next year. That's what I feel like.
That
So
is true, and we can certainly see this grow year over year. And as long as we get a lot of people to show up for the awards and start sharing this around over the next couple of months, I feel like it still has a chance to be pretty big for the community. If you ever see us post from our socials or from Shelf Shock, or you happen upon somebody talking about it on Reddit or Twitter or something like that, do us a favor and share that post. It does help quite a bit, and one of the ways that we are looking to highlight some of that engagement is to get all of you involved. So, one of the things that we are going to be doing is launching the very next Shelf Shock Rewind giveaway right now. So, we are going to give until the end of voting. So that way we get this hitting hard. You have the next 2 weeks to do this. Give us a video posted on some social network, whether that's Twitter, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Give it the hashtag Shelf Shock Giveaway and give us a 30-second or less video with you standing in front of your collection or with some of your collection, something like that, and explaining why you love physical media. Now, here's what is at stake. The top 5 videos are going to be a part of the live award show. You will get to see your face broadcast to the entire world, and then out of those 5, the top winner will also receive a $50 gift certificate to Grindhouse Video. So it's absolutely worth it. It takes 30 seconds to make a video and upload it, and make sure you put that hashtag on there, and we will see it, and we will internally get some people to look at these and make a choice for those 5 and get you involved in the show and get somebody some more physical media added to that collection.
yeah, $50. I mean, that could get you a couple good, single releases. That could get you a nice box set. That could get you, like, dude. I mean, that's a gift right there. That's a real gift.
And at Grindhouse, that's halfway to your free shipping. All you get another $50 out of your own pocket. You got free shipping on top of that.
Exactly. And we got to thank Mike over there for donating. He was gracious enough to give us some, and there's more. He gave us 3 of these things, so there's going to be more giveaways. But this one, focus on this one, guys. We want to get a lot of good love going for physical media. This is a chance for us to really spread the love about, say why you love it. We show off our collections, we take pictures. This is where you get to speak in your own words. Tell us why. Get emotional. I want to see some tears. So please be as unique as you want to be, but get the collection in there. Give us something interesting. I can't wait to see these.
I agree. There's a lot of reasons why people love social media. Hell, I've put out multiple videos talking about why I still collect physical media. So just anything that means something to you about physical media, whether you want to take a video in front of your favorite label section in your collection, whatever you want to do, make it nice, make it pretty, and let's see if we can get this a part of the show. Anything else about Shelf Shock you wanna share with everybody?
Oh, so we're like he said, we got a few hundred, votes in, but we need to make sure we're sharing it around, the link around as much as possible. Now, look, we don't want to be annoying, so we're not sharing it in all these groups. You could help us share it in these groups, these other groups where some people maybe don't follow us on the social medias yet. So please, if you can share it in some of these private groups, things like that, that would help a lot. I don't want you to get kicked out of the groups, but that's another avenue. But yeah, we got a lot more. We got other contests and giveaways and things that we're gonna do. Another thing, I think we brought it up on another one of the other episodes I was on, that there is going to be another way to get involved with the show itself, where we might do a kind of a behind the scenes where somebody can win an ability to do the nominations to present an award.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to be looking out for. But we got some other giveaways, we got Blu-rays to give away. We already gave away one. I gave away a 4K of a bird with crystal plumage right out of my collection. I just was like, fuck this, and I just pulled it off the shelf. I was like, I'm gonna give this away. So we're doing that, and so just look out for that. The more you guys get involved, the more this can be fun, and we can do more of this, because the bigger this is, the more this can happen again, and we can keep getting more availability to donations and things, and get everybody's going to get something. It's gonna be fun. Just do it.
Not to
Do it.
mention, sharing it around adds to the legitimacy, and we have a lot of
Yes.
people that we are reaching out to and have already been talking to, and obviously Stephen and myself have already talked to a lot of these labels and people in the industry, so they know us. A lot of them are already happy to be involved, but if they see that this is like a groundswell of support, they're more likely to go, well, damn, like I kind of want to be associated with this just to show that I'm a part of the community. So it's a good thing to do to add to that.
Yeah, so some of the labels are sharing our stuff, and that's nice. That's great. Let's keep that going. Let's reach some of the other labels that haven't gotten on board yet. So yeah, we're behind the scenes, we're getting closer and closer, and I start to think more and more about how much more work we got to do, and it scares the shit out of me. But no, I'm excited. We're getting things together.
Speaking of getting things together and giveaways, I do want to kind of tease one other thing is make sure you stay around for the whole show. I have another giveaway tonight that is not Shelf Shock related. And if you like physical media, you're going to want this one. So stay around until later. But Stephen, who is also a master of the announcements like myself, we are going to go over the week's announcements, and let's get into that finally. First, this isn't a real announcement. I just want to remind everybody that if you are into the premiums, the crazy steelbooks, the media books from Germany and all that, make sure you're following the Disconnected Premiums also on Instagram rather than just Disconnected. Didn't want to clog everybody's feed with both of them and get a whole bunch of releases you're not interested in. So yeah, give that a follow if you are into it. First up, you guys talked about some John Barrymore on the podcast recently. This is Counselor at Law, coming from Kino Lorber from 1933. What do you want to share about this one?
Well, I can see already I mean, John Barrymore is a great actor of it, and that's definitely a selling point. But honestly, the other name below that in smaller writings is actually the one selling point for me, William Wyler. Yep. That's why I will be buying this right away, because he's what I would say he's one of my favorite filmmakers of that time. Films like Mrs. Miniver and Best Years of Our Lives. He's just such a fantastic filmmaker that I don't feel like gets. I mean, he gets the love, but between cinephiles, but not necessarily amongst greatest of all time. So I think he's just a very just wide. He did it for so long, and he just got so many hits in there. And I believe he did. One of his last films is a great film. I believe Indicator put it out, and it was one with Terrence Stamp in it, and he played like a killer. And it's a good movie. I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's a good one. So yeah, I mean that's what's special about this one is is William Wyler for me, and I will be picking that up quick.
Obviously, John Barrymore, part of a dynasty as well, and this is just. On top of all that, 1933, really important time for film as we were, getting our footing and all that. So this definitely sounds good. We got a new audio commentary with Daniel Kramer and Catherine Weiler, and yeah, I bet this is going to be a great release. And I clicked away, of course. This last week, I posted an interview with Jerry Chandler of Synapse, and this is one that a lot of people have been asking for a long time when I started doing some of these interviews. And Jerry is a character. This was first off, I had to reschedule this a couple times. Jerry can be a little hard to track down sometimes because of how busy they are. The conversation was wild. We talked about re-releasing some of the old Synapse related DVDs on Blu-ray. We talked about why the Steelbook releases from Synapse cost so much. And somehow this ended with Jerry teaching us about safe words to use in BDSM. So this is a wild interview conversation. If you
very physical media related, yeah,
give it a listen. Let's start the deeper announcements here. More Kino Lorber, as always. Eye for Icarus from 1979 got announced, and they are standing deep in some of these foreign releases over the next couple months. Like France has been giving so much. We're getting so many Truffaut, and there's a couple collections coming from around that time. Crazy couple months for Kino.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know nothing about this one, but the dude's holding a gun, so I'm gonna look into it.
Good enough reason right there.
Yeah.
I did it again.
You did it again, yeah.
that people don't love. I wanted to shout out Mill Creek because the best thing is Mill Creek gives us some budget releases of some decent films. These usually on release are like $8 or $9, nothing crazy, but they are giving us 3 more from their retro VHS collection. They're giving us Fear from 1996 with the thespian Mark Wahlberg. Then The Fan from 1996 as well with Wesley Snipes, the great economist. And Problem Child from 1990 is getting its like 27th Blu-ray release. And this will be probably the exact same studio disc that we always get from them. Unfortunately, Mill Creek doesn't usually get to do their own scans or anything, but they're fun releases at least.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you know, I'm with a lot of people. They don't you know, blow my hair back, but I mean, sometimes there's something that they put out, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna get that because it's cheap and why not?
Right.
For instance, one movie that I wanted to get for a while that they put out, and I was like, nobody else is putting it out, is Crossroads. You know, with Ralph
Macchio.
Macchio. I was about to say Mariachi. That was a little bit racist. I don't know why I was about to say that. But so yeah, I mean, they put that out. I was like, I love that movie. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I was like, they put that out. I was like, shit, I gotta get that. I don't care about the VHS box, but yeah, you know, it's a good movie. And but yeah, these 3, I've seen Fear. I've seen all 3 of these. I've seen Fear. So a movie I watched tons when I was growing up for some reason.
Fear's great. It's sleazy,
yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah, it's sleazy, but it's you know, a break from the crazy girlfriend. It's the crazy boyfriend that just fucking stalks you and, you know, won't leave you alone and tries to kill everybody. Mark Wahlberg's he's scary in the movie. He really is. And genuinely. Then the fan, you know, is, you know, it's fun. I mean, it's essentially the, you know, what's the movie? What's the Scorsese movie that the remake?
Oh yeah. Wow. I was just talking about Scorsese yesterday with somebody.
Yeah, no. What's the film he did that was a remake and it was great? And it's Cape Fear. It's kind of got a Cape Fear-ness to it, you know? Yeah. But it's good. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, Wesley Snipes in the 90s, you know, and, you know, De Niro, man, he's an all-time great. So, and then the last one, what was the last one?
Problem Child.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That shit. I saw that movie like 1,000 times growing up. I actually talked with Larry Karaszewski.
I was about to say you had Larry on the podcast.
Yeah, and he hated talking about that movie. When I brought it up, I was like, I'm a fan of Problem Child. He's like, everybody's a fucking fan of Problem Child. So I don't know why everybody wants to talk about that damn movie. And I'm like, it's because I grew up with it. I'm sorry, Larry. I'm young.
But if I remember right,
I know. Yeah.
If I remember right, he did bring up that there was a while they were trying to get a Child's Play and Problem Child crossover called Problem Child's Play. And that sounded incredible.
I was like, dude, why were you still trying to do that? I mean, just
do that next year on Sci-Fi. I mean, Child's Play is still going strong.
Do it, man. I mean, but yeah, Larry's great. Larry's one of them guys. He was one of them guys that just like, he didn't even want to talk about himself. He wanted to talk Blu-rays. And I was like,
he is supportive as hell.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Sony Pictures Home Entertainment is putting out Indochine from 1992 with Catherine Deneuve. Again, just going with these foreign films. We got a lot of these coming in right now. Sony Pictures Classics obviously just put out a remarkable box set in 2022, and this is just another one of their great releases, and it's coming in Blu-ray, not a 4K release, but it's decent film from everything I read this week. I don't know a lot about this one. I never got to see this. I was a little young at the time, but it's one that I'm certainly interested in now.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving right along, I had been talking to somebody about this the other day because Nicholas Hoult is in this and wanted to share that the Hulu show is getting a Blu-ray release for season 1 and season 2, which I just wanted to highlight this because it's rare that any of these streaming services put any of their TV shows out on Blu-ray, and it is nice to see these still coming. I've not seen the show, but I like Elle Fanning, and Nicholas Holt's pretty great at what he does.
Yeah, I've seen the show. I love it. God, the writing in it is amazing. The comedy writing is, and Nicholas Hoult is the best asshole ever in this movie. He is the best asshole. in almost a likable way, though. It's like he's so terrible, but he's so good at it. And Elle Fanning just plays off of him so well and becomes, very empowered through the story. I don't want to give away story points, but she's just they're both just everything about the show is remarkable. It really is one of the best comedy series I think out there right now, and I'm excited for the next season. So yeah.
All right, that sounds pretty damn good, actually. Going to the next one. This is really damn exciting. I'm so glad that you're here to talk about this one too, because I know that you're excited about this one like me.
Well, if you look in the background, there might be a face that you recognize.
Kino Lorber putting out Face Off on 4K. This is amazing.
This was the greatest Christmas gift I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
I've been talking about getting this damn movie, and I knew there was a chance that Kino could be putting this out with the deal they made with Paramount. I was like,
right.
Is this coming? Is they going to finally put Face? I've been saying it, but yeah, this took the day. I didn't care about anything else from Christmas except for this.
Face Off on 4K with a brand new HDR and Dolby Vision Master. This is getting a 4K scan of the OCN. It's hard to ask about anything else because it's a John Woo film, it's a Nicolas Cage film, and to get, first of all, a release of any John Woo film, which we are getting too. We just talked about Woo coming from Criterion, but to get this, I am shocked that Paramount didn't keep this for themselves, first of all. But second of all, this is such a landmark film for the late 90s and for action and for just like bonkers weird how did this get made cinema that I cannot wait to own this so I can see, okay, they actually went through with this, because I'm still worried that this might get canceled at some point, because this is one of those films that we've all been dying to see again.
Yeah. What I need, and now, we don't know I don't know that we know what features are on this yet, if there's any new features.
We don't know anything.
But in my fantasy world, what I'd love to see is a Travolta and Cage commentary, and then they do commentary as the other person.
Characters, yeah.
Yeah. so then Travolta's playing Cage, and then and that, God, that would be amazing.
I can't imagine how much money that would cost in 2022.
$20 million to get them both in the room.
Just to
get them in the room. Yeah.
Oh man. So Zach's excited about this one, says Nick Cage in 4K, always a win. We got Terry says, kind of stunned that Paramount shipped this one out to Kino. Completely agree. Bruiser, still have this DVD my dad bought me at Best Buy back in the day. Amazing. One can dream that John Woo's output eventually gets a 4K. I mean, we have to get the two big ones from him at some point. There's the old crappy Blu-ray that was like barely released for a little while here. They're embarrassing quality. They're not great at all. But it seems like, if this is any indication, there might be some trickling down to some Woo films.
Well, we just got the John Woo from Criterion,
right?
So yeah, maybe more John Woo's coming.
Anthony looking for Broken Arrow on the horizon. I would love to see that. And then Hard Boiled and The Killer 4K. Yes, please. This is exciting for sure. Next up, one that is super interesting. I had no idea about this film, but Kino Lorber is putting out the Quester tapes from 1974 on Blu-ray. This brand new HD master from a 2K scan of The Inner Positive. This was a TV movie, and the big deal is this is done by Gene Roddenberry. He did the teleplay. Somebody else directed it, but he was involved quite a bit, and obviously a big name like Gene Roddenberry, that's pretty damn cool and a nice curio piece. More of these TV films on Blu-ray, please.
Oh yeah. And Kino's big on that. They've been doing a lot of good TV films. So keep them coming.
Dave wants 2 John Woo box sets, one for his Hong Kong work and one for his Hollywood work. That would be amazing. Probably will not happen, but if only. Dave actually remembers Quester. Nice. Says it was pretty good. Next up, another Kino title. March 14th, we are getting Double Crossbones from 1951. The new commentary on this is done by Lee Gambin, who was just on my channel, and actor film historian Gary Frank joins him on that commentary. How do you feel about these old swashbuckling films?
Swashbucklers. They they're hit and miss for me. I mean, you get some that are just maybe they're a little bit long in the tooth. They're like 2 hours and 45 minutes. You're like, I don't know if I need to watch this for 2. But I do like pirate films. I like
Right.
this looks like a pirate film, and it's one of them genres that basically got the Pirates of the Caribbean took that genre over. But we don't. I wish we would get more pirate movies that are not that. It seems like we've gotten pirate stuff in TV. But yeah, I mean it's a genre I always like to give a chance, but sometimes they get long in the tooth for me when it comes to like all the stuff between the action.
Right.
So I mean, stuff like the Seahawk. I believe that Warner Archive put that out. Yeah, stuff with what's his name, Mr.
Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn. Yeah. So a bunch of Errol Flynn's stuff, that's fits in there is stuff that some of that stuff I like, some of I don't. It's we'll see. This might be one I have to try to check out before I buy it.
That's why this one's exciting, because first of all, it's 76 minutes, which means they had to make it lean. And the description here talks about hilarious mishaps. And for a 1950s pirates film with hilarious mishaps, I love some of the old slapstick stuff from the 50s and around that time. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. We just talked about this a couple weeks ago, but Zach wants to remind everybody that Black Sails is perfect, and you should watch that show.
All right, fine. Whenever I get a chance.
This one I wanted to really highlight because of the names associated with this. February 21st from Lionsgate, we are getting The Price We Pay. This is from 2022. First off, has anybody in the chat seen this yet? Because I have not heard of anybody that has seen this film. But the big thing, Emile Hirsch is in this. Steven Dorff is in this. And it comes from a filmmaker that I adored one of his big films. And that is a name that I'm most likely going to butcher here. Ryuhei Kitamura, I think is how you say it. But he's the one that did Midnight Meat Train. Did you ever see Midnight Meat Train?
Oh, yeah. With dude from Gone in 60 Seconds, big guy. Yeah. That movie's cool. I like that movie. Yeah.
That and Bradley Cooper. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I like both of these actors. So, and the dude Steve Dorff's got my name. I mean, of course I like him. His name's Steven. I'm on all Steven's sides.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it takes for me. Steven Spielberg, Steven Soderbergh. There's a lot of great Stevens out there.
I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to name one that's awful.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a serial killer named Steven. I'm sure that I'm not thinking about.
Next up, another TV show getting a Blu-ray release that we don't hear about all too often, and really want to highlight those with all the changes going on in streaming world lately. Warner Brothers putting out Longmire on Blu-ray, which this one is almost an accomplishment in itself because it was canceled and then Netflix picked it up, and they're putting out the entire series, which means Netflix is on board. They're actually coming in and getting the entire series run put out on Blu-ray, which is great. I'm stoked that they are doing this. I've never seen Longmire. I'm cautiously interested in checking it out. I like a couple of the names associated with it, but it's not a super interesting genre for myself. What about you?
Yeah, I've seen Longmire. It's not like you said. It's westerns, especially modern westerns, are some can be a little bit overly melodramatic. So sometimes they're not as interesting for me, but this one's kind of got an old school feel to it. Small town sheriff and the main actor, I don't know his name, but he plays it off really well. And Katie Sackhoff is also in the show, and she's really great. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's just a more dramatized version of Walker Texas Ranger, if you like. No, not necessarily, but it's a decent show. I think it kind of played itself out near the end, but it's still a decent show.
That makes sense. Wave wants to highlight the commentaries on these new releases. Keep them coming because they add so much to these films. 100% agree. Paul says Midnight Meat Train sounds like a Vinegar Syndrome Picarama release, says the big Clive Barker fan. Justin, we were talking about that last release. If they would have invested $20 on the poster, that movie probably would have done better. And it was not great. I fully agree. Sounds like a great porn title. And Sarda says, if Netflix makes some money, maybe they will release some more interesting series they've shown. I wish that were the fact. They absolutely have a lot of stuff that people would love to own without actually getting Netflix. Oh boy, this story. Speaking of printing money, Disney thinks that they can just print all of the money ever, and they are releasing a line of Disney 100 releases in 2023. For those that don't know, 2023 is the 100-year anniversary of the opening of Disney Studios, and to commemorate it, they are releasing a series of these steelbooks that look like the tins that they did for the animation releases 15, 16 years ago or whatever. And I don't know what it is. It might just be me. These don't seem to be very appealing to the eye. The inside of the steelbooks look great, but the steelbooks themselves, I'm a little worried about. You got a comment?
God. First of all, like you said, what the fuck are they doing? Why do we need to do another one of these damn releases? Like, I'm getting so sick of anniversary releases. I'm so sick of like platinum. They're going through every damn, fucking stone you can think of as the name for the next like, guys, let the release breathe for a while. Like, let it be a thing. But like you said, and also the aesthetics, like I agree with you. God, these look ugly. These are damn.
The worst part, these are not even like brand new releases that we know of. These are the same 4K discs that they put out, just in another new collection. And the titles that they're leading out with are Frozen, Encanto, Moana, Toy Story. I mean, look at how terrible that is.
God damn it.
The Lion King and Coco. Now, nothing against those films. Those are genuinely all great films. I did not love the look of the old tins, but even those looked better than these that you're trying to commemorate with. This is not a great move. I do like that they're putting stuff out to commemorate the anniversary, but do something different with the releases at least. These will most likely be Best Buy exclusive 4K steelbooks, and they just will keep churning them out if people keep buying them, I'm sure.
Yeah, Disney's only interested in propelling more the same stuff. Like they just want to make sure that you remember that they're still there, and we do because you're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, like you literally own everything.
Everything, yes.
Another thing that is there's no previews yet for the actual boxes, but it appears as if they are going to be releasing the original Star Wars trilogy in 4K steelbooks in the US, and they are not going to be the original versions, so don't start jumping up and down for that. But they are likely going to be the exact same steelbooks from the UK that were released like 2.5 years ago, and everybody's had them for years. That's giant steelbook collectors. They look good, but oh my gosh, like, come on.
They must have found them in a warehouse somewhere. They were like, shit, we'll just put these shits back out. Yeah.
I like this. Brian says, put them back in the Disney vault and keep it there.
I can't agree more.
Let's go on to the next one before we all just get bitter. Kino, keeping it coming from 1938. We are getting Thanks for the Memory with a little known actor named Bob Hope. This gets a new commentary by filmmaker and historian Michael Schlesinger. Again, black and white, 75 minutes long, and romance and a good old-fashioned love song can save the day in this witty, charming romp through the minefield of marriage. I know nothing about it, but Bob Hope is pretty damn funny.
Yeah, he's a blind spot for me. They've been putting out a lot of Bob Hope lately, and makes me want to kind of start looking into it. And this one's about marriage. I'm a sucker for either usually depressing marriage movies for some reason. I'm into that. I don't know why. I like a marriage story. I like the Before trilogy. I love movies that. Well, the last Before. I love the last Before movie. For some reason, seeing that marriage just get torn down at the end, I love it. So I'm a sucker for them. So maybe this will be a funny version of that. I don't know.
Time will tell. Lots of hijinks in the old 30s and 40s and 50s films about marriage. Another set of steelbooks that are coming as Best Buy exclusive 4K releases. These are the Rocky series, and again, we don't have even super high quality images yet, but these look to be just really not great looking Photoshop jobs on these. The fourth one here, because it's the original poster, looks pretty decent, but the first three, I don't know. I've never even been a huge Rocky fan, but if I was, I would be not very happy with the imagery that they're going with here.
Yeah, It's pretty simple. It's a little too. I mean, it's a little generic for me. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm a pretty big Rocky fan. I've always really liked it. I grew up on the films. My dad inundated me with Rocky my whole life, and funny enough, I've never really owned these movies, probably because I watched them so many times.
Right.
Um, I think I think as a family we owned a set, but once I moved out, my dad kept the set, and I've never rebought them because I've seen them probably all at least fucking 30 or 40 times. So I'm interested in getting these in 4K, but I don't know about this.
Yep.
I might wait until they re-release it again. Somebody re-releases it again in better packaging, or just maybe a set. Like, I don't need single editions of this. I'm even though I don't love 5 I don't really even love 6 that much. I'd still like them in a set. So maybe that'll come later.
It is Warner Brothers, so it's very possible that even when these come out, they also put out just a 4-pack of the first 4. But also, why only the first 4? It's really odd.
I think amongst people that I think it's generally thought that nobody likes the 5th movie.
Well, yeah, but still.
And so, to put it out by itself, they're like, well, nobody's gonna buy that shit. So that's probably why. But if there is a set, it would break it for it would. I wouldn't buy it if it didn't have everything, because it's part of the legacy. It's part of the story. Even if I don't love it all, there's still things about the movies I like. I mean, I like the cheesy workout scene in Rocky Balboa. It was terrible. But I like watching it because it makes me feel better about myself. And then Rocky 5, you get to see Rocky hit Don King at the end, and he was like, I'll sue you. And he's like, sue me for what? And then he hits him, and he knocks him in the car. And then that's, Tommy Gunn. And there's some things about that that's fun.
And I'll say Creed is great. I genuinely like Creed so much.
I'm sure they won't even connect them. If there's a set, they won't even connect. My wife's popped in the room. Hey, wife. But they won't connect them. Them movies are going to be totally separated, I think, if they ever put out a set for them. Plus, of course, the third film's coming out. So whenever that gets released, I wonder if there's going to be a kind of an ending to is this going to be a trilogy, or are they going to continue past 3? I don't want to get us on a tangent, but I'm excited to get these movies, but not these editions. So
I would agree there fully. And more of these old timeless films on 4K. Big fan of that. Speaking of timeless, this is one that shocked the absolute hell out of me. Sony Pictures is putting out Ring-a-Ding Rhythm from 1962, and anybody that has followed like film history and some of the other production companies might recognize this as its Trad Dad, which was the first film released by Amicus Productions way back in 1962. Like, how is this getting a release in 2022? I'm not complaining in any way, but oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about this, man. You have to talk to me.
I know that I saw this at least once when I was younger. It's mostly let's see, their copy is pretty good. Richard Lester directs the singular British musical extravaganza, which is why I loved it. I always loved the musical shows. The pop culture explosion reveals a generation gap in a small English town when the mayor forces a teenage hangout to stop using its TV set and jukebox. A pair of crafty local teens, Helen and Craig, counterattack by trying to put together a festival that will demonstrate the merits of traditional jazz and rock and roll. While trying to enlist disc jockeys for the jazz show, they hear such talents as Del Shannon, the Dukes of Dixieland, Gary Bonds, the inimitable Chubby Checker, Gene Vincent, and many others. And it's just a big celebration. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, I'm gonna have to check this out more.
Zombies Ate My Arm. Can't believe I've seen this one. TCM has aired it. Nice. We are already almost at the end of this. Kino Lorber putting out Tomahawk from 1951. This is another classic that they're bringing. Another new commentary with Lee Gambin, like I mentioned earlier, with film historian and actress Rutanya Alda. This is 82 minutes long, and yet another one that I have not seen, unfortunately.
Me either. I'm hoping this is the prequel to Bone Tomahawk, which is a great movie. I don't know. I'm just fucking.
I don't think Van Heflin is getting eviscerated and torn in half in this film, sadly.
Well, probably not.
And the last thing is talking about tonight. So that's it. That's literally all of the announcements. A lot of the labels they take these last couple weeks of the year off, and it shows. There's not a lot of great films getting announced here. We get a lot of those starting in the first couple weeks of January, so we're gonna be hitting those pretty hard. Also, there's not a lot of releases that come out around this time, anyways, because like the Tuesday a couple days ago was not super heavy. The biggest title was Halloween Ends. I will share, just in case you've missed them, what is coming out next week, which again, not all that much. We got The Adventures of Baron Munchausen from Criterion that is getting released. The big Warner Brothers smash hit Black Adam is coming out next Tuesday. Pray for the Devil on 4K is coming out next week. Sergeant Riker from Kino. Armageddon Time, the Anthony Hopkins and Anne Hathaway joint, is coming out. And then Memories of My Father from Cohen Media is the last one that seems to be a title that would be of interest for this group.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to see Armageddon Time. I know that's I believe that's directed by James Gray. He's a director I think's pretty underrated, so I'd like to check that one out. But other than that, yeah, Black Adam. I watched that crap. Yeah, it's
I haven't seen it yet. John says he liked it. I'm sadly very behind on the DCU, which now it looks like the DCEU is done with anyways. So it doesn't matter.
It's a shit show over there. But I hope they can get it figured out. I mean, I'm not like super like not that I hate comic book movies, but it's just it used to be like the center of my attention, and then I got so tired of it. So I've kind of like, I preferably pay attention to it, but not full front anymore. But I hope, I hope that Flash movie comes out and it sounds like it'll be fun, and you get to see Keaton come back as Batman and things like that. And, but yeah, James Gunn's taking over DC. Maybe that'll be good. I don't know. We'll see.
I like James Gunn. I think.
I love James Gunn. Yeah. But is every movie going to be snarky? Like what, or is it going to be, What is it going to be like? Who knows his direction for what he thinks the world should be like.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, that's all I got for Steven. I know Steven's got to head out and go to bed. So thanks, Steven, for hanging out tonight. It has been a blast to do everything we have over the last 4 or 5 months or whatever. And more to come. Everybody, make sure you're following Chasing Labels. They do incredible stuff all the time, and obviously the big thing to hit is Shelf Shock Rewind. Make sure you enter that giveaway, and make sure that you are following those socials as well. Steven, till next time, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you guys for thank you, Ryan, for letting me come back on. And yes, Shelf Shock Rewind, get on it, and get out there and vote when you're ready. You still got a couple weeks, and I'll be around. Maybe I'll be back soon. Who knows? There'll be another giveaway. Maybe I'll pop back in here on another show. But everybody have a good night.
Steven may be hanging out in the chat anyways, because there's another giveaway tonight. So don't forget.
What? I shouldn't win. I should never win it. No, I was gonna say, can I be a part of it? No, I don't need you guys. You guys get whatever it is. It's for you guys. I got enough here. I don't have no more room for Blu-rays that I win from other people.
Have a good night, Steven. We
guys
all
have a good one. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Nobody leave just yet. We have a lot more stuff to go over. That was our time with Steven, and he's amazing. Now that he's not here and it won't be awkward, genuinely, please make sure you are following Chasing Labels. Him and Andrew. First off, Andrew somehow watches every film that's ever made. Like the day it gets announced, he watches like 9 films, it seems like. And they discuss as many as they can every week on their podcast. They get some great guests. They do a lot of interviews, and they're just amazing. Now the fun part. I've got a lot of stuff to discuss. As I said, there's a lot of things that are not easy to sort of shoehorn into other episodes. So what I have been doing is keeping a list of things that I wanted to run down at the end of the year, and I'm looking for a lot of engagement in the chat. Make sure you're hanging out. Make sure you're giving a lot of comments. Make sure you're making your opinion heard. I'm curious to see what you all think about a lot of these topics. So the first one, I wanted to make sure that we were leading off with some respect on some name. Obviously, a lot of us woke up today to the news that Ruggiero Deodato has passed away. A couple people that were close to Ruggiero had had been posting that it was not looking great, that it looked like a very serious condition going on over the last couple days, and it started to get a little somber. And unfortunately, he is gone. Obviously, he is known for Cannibal Holocaust, but he is a maestro, and not just for that film. There's a lot that Ruggiero did that really should be recognized, and he's gotten a lot of respect from some of these labels over the last few years, especially. But I wanted to highlight a handful of titles that if you've never watched Ruggiero Deodato, you absolutely should be. Leading off with Raiders of Atlantis, one of his most fun films. And then obviously I mentioned Cannibal Holocaust, but if you have not seen it yet, anybody that is in this hobby or at least tangentially involved or inspired by this, please make sure that you have seen it at least once. I understand the issues with the animal cruelty, and I don't like a lot of what he did. However, it is important and a genuinely great film, and one that you should see at least once. Next, I would absolutely highlight Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Really great film. His older film, Jungle Holocaust, is one that absolutely deserves some love. And then the one that came out way later than some of these classics that people just forget that he did. And I think it was Shameless put out, I think it was a DVD years ago. Seek out The Washing Machine. Like, how do we not have a US Blu-ray release of The Washing Machine? I don't get that one. He killed it on body count. The Barbarians is a great film. He has a segment on the Profane Exhibit that Unearthed Films has been working on for the last few years, and I can't wait to see that release here soon. But the big one for me, my favorite film from Ruggiero, is one that has recently gotten some love, and I really hope people give some respect to House on the Edge of the Park. The film is genuinely creepy. It is a film that is very well made. It is a film that has some faces in it that you'll recognize if you've been a part of genre films for quite some time. But this is one of the big names. This is like an Argento passing away, genuinely. He had a major impact on genre films for decades. He has continued to be involved. He's continued to put out films for a very long time. The other thing that I would shout out is there's a documentary that was released a couple of years ago at this point, I believe, that has been like thrown in some media books and a handful of other releases, but I don't think it's gotten a big like standalone Blu-ray release to highlight it. However, he was a part of a release that is called the Deodato Holocaust, and it is so well done. It is a documentary that really highlights his earliest films all the way to his latest films and gives details that we just don't get to see in a lot of the other interviews with him. And he has always just been very well spoken and very, very willing to talk about a lot of different parts of his filmmaking. So seek out some Deodato if you've never spent a lot of time with him. I really wanted to give some respect to him. It is a filmmaker that has impacted millions, literally. It's a great legacy that he left behind. And if you've never seen anything, that Deodato Holocaust, the documentary, is a really great place to start. And like I said, it's been bundled with some other releases, so you can seek it out. Let's see in the chat. Oh, there you go. Justin says it's a bonus disc on the Severin release for House on the Edge of the Park. I think I got it as I think it's a bonus disc in a media book I got somewhere. Let's see. House on the Edge of the Park is a socio-commentary on class divide mixed with Last House on the Left, literally with at least one of the actors. Ballad and Blood was awful. Yeah, everybody's got some bad ones. It wasn't good. Let's see. Cut and Run, that's another one I did not highlight, and you are absolutely correct. Dude was so baller, he was almost indicted for murder because his film was so convincing. He literally had to take the actors to court to prove that they were alive. That's amazing. Lots of love for Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Amazing. John says Cauldron might do one of his obscure films next year. Very nice. And Flickering Waves sounds like House on the Edge of the Park should be one to seek out. Seen Cannibal Holocaust and Raiders of Atlantis. Nice. Next, I really wanted to highlight something that has been very impactful for me this entire year. And this is a really great time to reflect on it because it's the end of the year. It's a natural time to reflect. Uh, I don't know how to say thank you for this, and I don't know if you all are just amazing. I haven't really had to do a lot of moderating, but this community has been genuinely special. Most most places on the internet turn into a cesspool rather quickly. We have seen that you guys leave mostly positive comments, which I'm fine with criticism. Nothing wrong there. But you guys are nice to each other. Even when I post announcements and people are in the chat talking about Arrow, there's usually not a lot of nothing for me this month. When are they getting back to their horror roots or whatever? You guys are just amazing. Following this channel, following our socials, you guys have done a lot of stupendous positive work for the community, and I really wanted to just thank you and highlight that. There is no feat as amazing as watching a part of the internet not devolve into racism and infighting, and it's been incredible. One of the things that was discussed in comments on a recent video, and it was I think it was comments on a video that was months old, so most people probably have not seen this, but one of the things that some people wanted to say is how with this group and with these interviews that have been on the site and with the Patreon and everybody supporting the channel, there's a few things that it has felt very welcoming through. And one of those is that this has given you a room to create, like a room to breathe, a room to be human in these shared and diverse experiences that we all have together. And it has been amazing just to see that you guys have grasped onto that. And I wanted to truly say thank you. And I could not be more proud to be a part of that community. Let's see what is going on in the chat after that. Wave is happy with it. Led by example. I mean, I just do what I like to see, so thank you. My sister's happy with the community. DC, I tried to put on my big boy pants when I enter a public chat. I wish more people would. That's for sure. Don't downplay yourself. People have incredible influence on the... Thank you so much, Celeste. By the way, wanted to shout out some Vinegar Syndrome. Not genuine like news this week, but there's been some weird stuff about Vinegar Syndrome, and we're going to get into it on Sunday. But I wanted to highlight Celeste is going to be my guest on Sunday as we are live streaming the first day of Subscriber Week. We're going to go live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and we will be live as everything goes on, discussing the launch of Subscriber Week, the brand new titles, finding out what VSL is going to feel like and what that first release is going to be. And Celeste is amazing. One of the things that we're going to talk about is how everybody woke up to somebody posting on Facebook and a couple other socials not to subscribe to Vinegar Syndrome because of the translucent slipcover. What do you even want to call it? It's not really like a real sort of fight. It's just somebody whining. I don't know how else to explain it. This isn't like a controversy. Somebody is trying to claim that because they were a subscriber in 2022 and they didn't get the translucent slipcover, that they were lied to and nobody should subscribe. Oh man, hilarious. And if you read all of the words that Vinegar Syndrome used in the copy, you would find out that there is no absolute way that they would argue that at all. I'm not going to highlight all of the compliments because I'm awkward. My sister, shout out to you. I built this community. Thank you. Let's see. Dave, I'm so impressed by the amount of cinema knowledge available in this and a few other groups. And that's true. That is something that I've counted on so much over the last 18 months of doing this, is everybody in this chat. If Steven and I forget a name, like, you guys are immediately saying Cape Fear. It is so incredible to see everybody come together with these different shared experiences of cinema that we can relate to, but we don't necessarily have all the same knowledge. So it's nice to come back and just resonate with everybody around here. It's amazing. Sister Agatha's here. What's going on? Late to Diodato, but didn't see any love for Dial Help. Guess it's just me. No, not necessarily. I've not gotten a chance to see it. I'm not sure if it's great. I need to see it. Let's see, Celeste. I'm excited to have you on Sunday. Let's see. We can use a senior discount. Other than that, everything is copacetic. It's literally one dude whining and crying. Yes, it's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Is this the guy that started the class action lawsuit against Arrow? That is the first thing I thought of. It screams of the exact same tiny dick energy. I don't know what to say. It is just awful. Absolutely awful. Dead Sea Life says, I don't think I'm resubscribing because I just don't have the time to watch everything. There's so many titles. No, I will not stop bypassing the nice comments. Eric says, the only negative comment I can possibly make about the Disconnected Empire comes from my wallet, and I apologize. We're actually going to be talking about that in just a minute. Let's see, what was next on my notes? The positive community. I'm still not done with that. So, the giveaway. I wanted to highlight that we have somebody that is a patron. I'm not going to name who because they asked that their name not be read out to everybody. But we have a lovely patron that wanted to donate something to a giveaway for this channel. And it is not like a small, cheap prize or anything like that. This is a high quality, brand new 4K sealed release of one of my favorite releases of the year. It's not this exact release, but it's the same. This is just a different version. You all know how much I love Robin Hood, and I love this release. I think it looks great in 4K. I was stoked to hear that we had somebody offering to give this away. So I'm going to show you a picture of what we are offering for giveaway tonight, and this is it. This is a picture of the release. This is the 4K limited edition release of Robin Hood and the Prince of Thieves. And this is up for offer tonight to anybody who is the first person to get my trivia question about this film tangentially correct. Now, I love this movie, so I'm so glad that they reached out with this. This is a film that everybody should see and look back with a sort of nostalgia. It is such a fun movie. This is going tonight. Whoever wins this, you're going to have the choice to have the person that is giving it away, have them send it directly to you. Or if you don't want somebody else to know your address and you, for some reason, trust me more, they can send it to me and I will send it to you. But if you win this and I say that you've won, please check the description below. You'll find my email. Email me and I will get it sent out to you, whether it's from them or from me in the next few days. But here it is. Everybody ready? In the chat, this is the question for the trivia to win this. Here we go. Alan Rickman, who you see on the cover of this right at the top with his glorious, glorious role that he is in this, he was so unhappy with the terrible script for this film, he thought it was terrible, that he sat down with some of his friends in a Pizza Hut to rewrite some of his lines. After all of that, what did Alan Rickman go on to win for his performance in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? In the chat, let's see if anybody can get this. And if you know Alan Rickman, you might be able to pull that one easily. What did he win for his role in this film? Somebody's got to get it. It's not an Emmy. We actually do have a winner already. DC won. Alan Rickman won a BAFTA for his performance in this film, which is incredible. For those that don't know, that's a British award, and it is genuinely prestigious, and I'm glad that they gave it to him. DC, you won. Congratulations. If you would be okay with them sending it to you, just send me an email with your address. If you'd rather I send it to you, let me know in the email. But in the description below, you'll find my email address. It's discconnectedmedia@gmail.com. Either way, send me that over with your address and we'll get it sent out to you in the next handful of days. Congratulations. Thank you. That is amazing. I'm so glad that we're going to get that to somebody that wants it. And based on your comment, you look pretty happy. Congrats. Now, let's go on to the next thing. Obviously, as we were going through some of those compliments, you notice I breezed over all of the positive comments, and there's a reason. I've discussed in some of my interviews on here before, primarily with Kat Ellinger, we really hit hard this feeling of imposter syndrome, and I've dealt with that for a long time. I also struggle pretty mightily with pretty hardcore depression. And I really wanted to share that just being able to come on here week after week with all of you, it was amazing to have these moments of genuine happiness, and it is reflected by being able to come here and just spend time with you guys. Obviously, living a life where I have a job that I don't love, that is my day job, and to have two kids with special needs and a lot of other random crap going on. It is difficult to fight through that sometimes, and to continue making videos for you guys, to continue being a part of this community. It has helped so much to keep me motivated, keep me on track, and just genuinely making me happy. And the little bit that I've been able to help some of you that have reached out and asked questions and just made me feel like I'm somebody that you can count on. It has been an astonishing year for that, and I just wanted to say thank you for being here. The next thing I wanted to say is something to protect all of you, because it feels like this has started to be something that we're seeing in the community right now, and that is this idea of collecting fatigue. Now, it being the end of the year, it is very, very easy to reassess everything. So take this moment for yourself and let's discuss this. Collecting fatigue. Obviously, I have too many films. I have too many releases. I have stacks. You can't see it because this is the pretty side of the room. I have stacks in my window of films that I have not been able to watch yet, just because life is so busy. It can be fatiguing. I don't understand how I'm staying inspired to do this except for this community. But one thing that you can do to fight that is to reassess everything. The other thing I wanted to caution against with this conversation is the idea of the classic Keeping Up with the Joneses. You do not have to be a part of the game of trying to top another person's collection. You are able to collect just what you want to collect, or not collect anything, and just still love film. And please come hang out with us just because you love film. You don't have to have any physical media to be a part of this. Another thing that I wanted to throw out there is this unnecessary FOMO that a lot of these labels have genuinely made us feel, and it is a marketing tactic. I'm never not gonna shoot that down. It's a big deal. But there's two things I wanted to throw out there to caution with some of this. Is one, budgeting. Obviously, this is the most obvious problem with this habit. And it is a habit, because it's absolutely something you can get addicted to and make a big part of your life and become a problem. But if you don't budget, it is very easy to fall in a trap of buying every single item that's on sale, or buying every single item that is brand new. And you are like, I hate to use this type of word for this, but you're literally going to end up possibly killing yourself. Like, there's so much that can be a problem for you in a way that genuinely can negatively affect your life for decades over physical media. And that's just silly. So the thing that I'm going to suggest, change it up. It is something that I am looking to do over the next year. Not in any like major ways. I'm not getting rid of my collection. I'm not changing up the channel entirely or anything like that. But every once in a while, you gotta do something different. And one of those things that you can do is simply just to reassess what you own. And do you need to own it? Do you want to own it? Do you and that's it might sound like a silly question, but you own it. Do you genuinely want to own it? If not, give it to somebody else. Sell it. Do something to help your life out. The other thing, reassess in a way that can challenge you. And that's where I wanted to talk about challenging yourself with art. Before I dive into that, let's look at some of these comments, because there's been a lot coming in. And again, wanted to make sure that you guys all feel a part of this tonight. So, DC, the winner tonight. I got to say, Toyed Forever is starting my own channel, but the idea of dealing with trolls just stresses me out. So my hat's off to you for enduring and putting in all this work. Honestly, it's not been so bad for this channel. I admin a couple of the Facebook groups that are for collectors for certain labels and buying and selling, and I try to help people through transactions so they don't get taken advantage of. That is where the drama and the trolls come out, and it gets bad. Let's see. John, you know the stuff I've gone through. Divorce, loneliness, depression has hit me hard lately, but Blue gets us through. And in a way, it absolutely can. So just like I said, reassess and all that. This might be the thing that makes your life feel fulfilled. And just coming and being a part of this community can be something that can make you happy. And as long as you're not hurting yourself or others with those purchases or with the films that you are watching, there's nothing wrong with it. Enjoy your art, ingest it, be cultured, find something that you love, and envelop yourself with it. My wonderful sister, so proud of you for everything you've done this year, from this channel to simply surviving. Love you more than you know. I appreciate you. Love you too, Courtney. Wave, I have depression too, and it's very difficult to just live sometimes. Amen. Proud of you for staying strong and pushing through. You're awesome. Thanks, Wave. Dave, I am too. Dave says, I'm actually surprised I have the time to do this. I don't know how. I genuinely just, I don't sleep sometimes. DC says, truly the pre-Black Friday VS chat was one of the best times. It really has been this year, before both of the sales have been great. Zach says, thank God I'm poor and can't get fatigued. Yeah, absolutely. Bruiser, glad to hear this is as valuable for you as it is for all of us. Thanks for fostering such a great community. Wouldn't be fostered without you all. Brian is noticing his friends going through collector fatigue big time. Totally get it. Celeste, overwhelmed, put out a video today that's in my watch later stack that who knows when I'm going to watch it. It'll be in the next couple days, but dying to see it. John, just collect what gets you excited. It's okay to miss a release. You can always get it later. Unfortunately, if you start to get OCD about a lot of that, it might cost more. So you got to reassess it and make sure that you don't buy into that FOMO. Wave, I have to limit my collecting. Gets out of hand sometimes. Setting a hard budget helped me. It's hard to not want everything. Completely agree. One of the greats, Daisuke Beppu, says you don't have to be obligated to buy films, and you don't. Absolutely not. Lissa, what's going on? It's maybe an awkward chat to come into to talk about some depressing stuff, but there's going to be some good stuff surrounding all this, I swear. DC says, especially for a steelbook collector, I've just seen way too large hauls for first day releases, and that's like 35 a piece. Oh, yeah, easily. Absolutely. Kubrick, I put a moratorium on my current movie buying. Sometimes you got to do that. Celeste, I don't have the time or the money to keep buying the way I have this year. I say this all the time, but I'm feeling like it's time to slow down. And Celeste actually has some great tips if you follow their channel. There is... you're gonna have to remind me in the chat, and it's gonna be like 90 comments down, and I know that, but a DVD, not DVD specifically, but a physical media rental service that Celeste uses that I think they were saying, I don't want to get this wrong, I think it was $4 a disc or like $3 a disc, something like that. I think Celeste said they get, is it 8 films and they pay $24, $28 a month, something like that. That's pretty good. And if you can limit yourself, that's under $30. That's less than one of these limited editions every month for 8 physical releases. Make sure you check out that site. I'll highlight it again. Celeste will comment it. Thanks, Celeste. I wish I knew it off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Spaghetti. When it comes to the collecting element, I love that this channel gives levity. Yes, you do speak to the releases, but also you do these contextual interviews of just the journey. Yes, that's been a big part of that. And I want to make what I've been doing with those conversations fun and informative, but also give meaning and like, I don't want to use this word lightly here, but power to some of these releases. Because I mean, even this silly Robin Hood release that a lot of people, I will just say, they flat out hate this film. It took a lot of hands to get this release out to the masses. And I really want to highlight those individuals because their hard work deserves some attention. And sadly, there's some of these labels, they don't even put all of the names like in the credits on the release. And that irks me. A lot of these people work very hard on this stuff. Let's see what's next. Sardis, don't let spine numbers be the nucleus of your collection. Exploration gives you more joy. We're about to talk about exploration, my friend, and I think you're going to really like this next topic. Lissa bought 4 steelbooks at Walmart for $7.50 each in the dump bin. They just did that. I think it started in November. They've been putting out some great ones in there. So yeah, absolutely. Dave says, this community has exposed me to different genres. Giallo, new to me. And who knew there was non-Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns out there? Yes, tons. So many. Celeste says, the trolls really aren't bad. It's more to the sheer amount of work and emotional energy required to run a channel. Absolutely. Let's see. This is a lot of fun for Stan. I like to see that. John says, I made 10,000 more this year than last, and I don't know where it went. Oh yeah, look at that shelf. But also, it's also very expensive out there just to be alive. And if we are a part of this community and we are buying things, we are sort of just inherently full of privilege. The fact that we can afford to buy 5 of these in a year is a huge privilege compared to a lot of people. And that should be something that we are highlighting as well, because it's not every day that people can make the choice to buy the Reservoir Dogs Steelbook or even have a 4K player. So completely get that. Paul says, I have 453 films in my collection I still need to watch, so I'm slowing down. Sadly, this has taken so much time for me. I wish it was 453 in my collection. So completely get that. Here's the name, 3D Blu-ray Rental. If you go to that site, and I think it's 3dbluRayRental.com, it's around $3.50 to $4 per disc, depending on the plan that you choose. So absolutely worth it. And that is incredibly, incredibly cheap. Cam says, I learned real quick that you can't buy everything. Too true. John's here. What's going on, John? This is the broadcast director for the Mets. He says, it's a love fest. Thanks for all you do. Not sure how you do it all, but I'm glad you do. I can say the same for you, my friend. You see way more than I can. Let's see. DC says, I just ordered Massacre at Central High because of me, because of my interview with the head of Severin. I think you meant Synapse. But yeah, that release is incredible. Absolutely amazing. Amazing release. So a great film. Love that film. Kubrick says there are people starving in third world countries. I mean, not to like bring this conversation down, depending on where you live, we kind of live in a third world country in the US sometimes. There are a lot of zip codes that people are not getting access to healthcare. They are not getting access to proper education. We in the Kansas City area, we just had an entire school district lower the number of days that the kids are going to school because they can't afford enough teachers. They're going down to a 4-day school week. We have another school district that's just on the other side of the Kansas state line that they just completely like demolished the idea of reliable transportation for some of these kids. They are gutting the school bus lines in this other school district. And I don't see how this current generation, especially of elementary school kids, are going to feel any sort of trust in our country, in our, not even just government, but like in their authority figures. We can't provide for them. Like, and then on top of that, it wasn't even stable enough for the last handful of years where they feel like we should be able to rely on those people. We just went through a huge pandemic. My youngest son has spent, let's see, he's been in school for 4 years of his life. 3 of them have been during a pandemic. How unstable must that feel for a kid that's not even 6.5 yet? That is astonishing. It's hard. Anyways. Oh yeah, some people started saying it. There's people starving in America. Absolutely. Kubrick, I work at a library. Get some DVDs and Blu-rays for free or cheap. Absolutely, one of the best things that people can do is to support local libraries. And even remember that even just renting from a library is actually a way of financially supporting them, because the more things that get rented from a library, they see it as being used, so they give more money to that library. And that's just how it works. So keep that in mind. Completely true. Let's see. America better not be going Cat 3 in real life soon. Yikes. Too many people in charge that are in it for themselves rather than the people who elected them. Too true. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. Completely agree. Planet Mondo, Flint, Michigan doesn't have clean water, but the one guy on Facebook is complaining about slip covers. Oh man, that is bravo. That is a great comment. My gosh. All right, let's go on to that was perfect, Mondo. Let's go on to the next thing. And one of the ways that I am going to suggest changing it up for yourself, and this was really difficult. I've been trying to shoehorn this into some of my interviews for the last like 5 months, but it just does not work when I have this whole idea in my head to discuss it in a way. But I want to talk about challenging yourself with these films. It is important when looking at this art, and based on I filmed a conversation with Celeste that's coming out in January, and we just talked about art and analyzing art, and I want to throw out the conversation about engaging with art. Primarily on this channel, we talk about films, so I am alluding to films, but really all art, whether that be music, visual arts, attending live plays, whether that be painting something yourself or sculpting or anything like that. You should be engaging with art that is challenging to yourself. It is very, very simple, especially in this hobby when we're in, I just brought up Facebook groups. When you're in Facebook groups that is all about one label or that is all about one genre, to live in this echo chamber where you hear people share opinions about films that you suddenly start to apply it to yourself, even though you may not have originally felt that. And it is very important to challenge the way that you're viewing these films, if it is films that we're discussing. But again, everything. Whatever the type of art that it is, make sure that you are branching out in a way that makes you question how you're looking at film, how you're watching film from other countries, from where you live, where it is applying metaphorical feelings behind some of these films that we watch. It is very easy to find yourself only watching one genre. And there are a lot of channels, and I've done this, I'm guilty of this as well. There are a lot of channels that will discuss things like monthly challenges, and those are great. Like October, it's very easy to say, let's do 31 days of horror. I've done calendars for the last like 6 years where I've done it. It's fun. I get that. But make sure it's not 31 days of horror and then the rest of the year is only horror as well. Make sure that when you are watching these films, you are engaging with something where you're enveloping yourself in other cultures, in other belief systems, in understanding your fellow human experience. And it is something that has been brought up in my interviews lately, is discussing how these special features on these discs are genuinely like film school. And not only is it like film school in the sense of making films, but in discovering other films around you that will be challenging to yourself. We have had so many comments this year around things such as the Sight and Sound poll, where people are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. This is the perfect list. Jeannie Dielman, or however you say it, that I've never seen, and I will fully admit to that right now, is a challenging film, and it should be. That's the way that it should be, the very top of this list. Everybody should get used to that. But then there's the other side of the spectrum, that is the people that have seen those films and are looking down onto people that have never heard of them. Neither one of those are the right answer, and there is no real right answer. But truly, what you can do with all of these labels, as long as you're surrounding yourself with a multitude of perspectives, is discovering things like Jeannie Dielman, and discovering things like I think this is Centipede Horror from Air 444. There are lots of films that many of us will literally never see. Tons. And no matter what you do, blind buying something or watching something on Tubi that you've never heard of, that is completely different than anything that you've watched ever in your life, is the better way for you to spend night, even not every night, obviously. You don't have to do that, but every couple weeks, or maybe you make Saturday night the challenging movie night in your house or something like that. The way to broaden your perspectives in a way that will make you feel like a more well-rounded human in general, a more well-rounded fan of film. And the way that you can discuss that with these people and have those different perspectives can actually lead to you sounding like you know what you're talking about, and more able to identify with other people around you. And it's, in a way, it can be genuinely very educational. And whether you are condescending and pretentious, or whether you are completely ignorant and only watching, I don't know, childish films and never branching out to anything that gives this other cultural perspective, the true balance is where all of that comes together in a way that highlights the individuality of man. And it's tough to discuss this in a way that doesn't sound pretentious in itself, but I just want to say, make sure that you are watching film that is not just your favorite thing that you've always watched. It is so easy to get lost in a genre. It is so easy to get lost in an actor. It is so easy to go back to comfort films. I mean, that's why we call them comfort films. They're literally comforting. But push yourself. Push yourself to engage with art that is challenging. If you are doing that and you are pushing your tastes, you don't get as burned out with these films. It is, whether you call it a palate cleanser, whether you call it an energizing reset, whatever you want to discuss it as, it is something that can positively impact your life in ways that you can't even comprehend until you experience something differently, maybe years down the road. Literally, just understanding somebody else's experience in life can make you a better person because you're more empathetic to your fellow man. And it is so important to do that and not get lost in this, that I don't know. I could talk about this for the next 45 minutes and still not feel like I'm getting the point across purposefully. I don't feel very eloquent about it right now, but it is just so important to challenge yourself. Let me check in with the comments. I love how much you guys are commenting right now. It's amazing. I should probably drink some of this. DC, a little bit of black humor, but that slipcover is cleaner than Flint's water supply. True. Damien, I've been making it a point to borrow films from the library. Since the pandemic, I've noticed most have turned to streaming. New releases are often easily found. And I would say it's kind of 50-50. I've felt like a lot of people have returned to physical media, but also a lot of people have turned to streaming. But the important thing there is people, when they were stuck at home, they turned to art. And that in itself is important. It shows that when we have time, that's free time, and we don't get to go engage in clubbing. I'm not somebody that's ever gone clubbing. I don't know what to say here. But when you have free time, we as humans, we turn to art. We turn into ingesting something that can make us better people, that we can revel in, that we can truly ingest in a way that makes us entertained, makes us fulfilled, makes us just different people. I love that. John says 2022 got me into SOV, which I previously shrugged off. There's been a lot of SOV releases. Get that. Jeremy Long, my friend, what's going on? My dad and I just analyzed art tonight as I showed him my third favorite film of the year, After Sun. I'm so desperate to see that after I heard you on Tuesday. Dead Sea Life just got into leatherworking, making wallets, keychains, gonna make a satchel. Very nice. I've actually heard a lot of great, like, cathartic things about leatherwork. I've considered it in the past for sure. Kubrick composes and plays music on his channel, play a few guitars and MIDI keyboards, independent from movies. Very nice. That's amazing. Everybody should go subscribe to Kubrick. I believe I'm subscribed. If not, I'm going to definitely go subscribe after this. Celeste, yes, I read some comments on an NPR article about thoughtful film engagement earlier that really fucking depressed me. Yeah. And we're actually going to talk about something similar to that in just a minute. That's different than what I just talked about as well. DC, I said no to Vinegar Syndrome for so long, but realized I was using a broad brush, thinking there wasn't any variety in their label, and there is. honestly, Vinegar Syndrome might be one of the most broad labels, actually. John says, getting into Nikatsu Pink films in my life is good. Love that. Eric says, I learned more about the world and other people during the 90s when I was seeing hundreds of films at the Film Center, Facet Stock Films. I felt so connected. And the truth of the matter is, it is, I don't want to use the word cheaper, but it is much more cost effective to travel in that way rather than traveling the world. Obviously, it might be more rewarding to go travel the world, but most of us are not as privileged to be able to do that. And even like I said, this itself and film discovery is a privilege in itself. The fact that this is something that we are worried about and able to make a challenge for ourselves shows how privileged that is. But if you're able to go to hundreds of films in a year, like Eric was in the 90s, that is a way to travel the world. Absolutely. John says, within 31 days of horror, I went blindly into Mexican horror. Yeah, he's been talking about that for the last 4 months. Love hearing about that. DC. Every time someone at work says they only watch Marvel and DC movies, it breaks my heart. Yeah, I can see why. Brian says, it's why I blind buy Kino titles. There's so much variety. And blind buy Kino titles, Brian does. If you are not, go subscribe to All That Is Man's YouTube channel. He puts out some of the most comical unboxing videos you will ever see. And there's a wonderful cameo in the newest one. It's me. Eric, seeing film from across the world and across the entire time span of film art was so enriching. I love to see that. Celeste agrees. Kino is unbelievably good for this. And I mean, when you're putting out like 6 films a week, you pretty much got to be good at that. Kubrick Lover, that's what I love about Criterion. They feel like film school, which I've only been to a few film classes. And, we're talking about streaming and not buying a lot of these discs potentially in certain cases. The Criterion channel is perfect for this. They still have a lot of engagement with filmmakers, with the extra features that you can watch on the Criterion channel, and they still have that ever-evolving, films come in, films go. They bring stuff that's not on Criterion. They are one of the better streaming services to be a part of, for sure. Dave says, my first watch and repeat watch ratio is flipping. More first watches than ever before. It is difficult for me to rewatch films at all nowadays because time is so valuable for me. It's just difficult. My mom, she's speaking to me, so I'm going to read it from the first person. I have definitely helped broaden her sheltered mind, and she is grateful for all she has learned from me. That's amazing. She couldn't be more proud of me. Thank you, Mom. That's great. Let's see. Planet Mondo. Just watched Centipede of Horror. Nice. That chicken scene was brutal. I still need to watch it. I love the shirt, though. Spaghetti, best thing I ever did was to not watch things in just plain passing by, but to try to put thoughts to each kind of film equally, no matter what genre. And I don't want to sound like I'm just shouting out everybody that I know personally because I interact with this community so much, but I'm going to do it, Spaghetti. I'm sorry. Blake is one of the best people that you can follow on Letterboxd because every time Blake watches a film, he reviews it on Letterboxd in a way that you will not find from any other people. We're talking analytical, full-length essays, basically, for every single film. And if you got a Letterboxd account and you're not following Spaghetti, please make sure you follow Blake. Blake, I'm going to say it. Put your Letterboxd name in the chat. Let people find you. You are an incredible follow, and I really hope that the amount of writing that you're doing lately is continuing to be fulfilling for you, because I know just reading your thoughts on a film has continued to be fulfilling to me. So thank you for being a part of that and for posting those. Let's see. Anthony says, I would never look down on someone who hasn't seen a movie. I only look down on people who do not understand the great masterpiece that is Halloween Ends. True. Paul says, I push obscure genres like wuxia and police yoteshi to others to an annoying level. I do the exact same. And that's why some of the conversations that I have, I try to do focusing on certain genres so that we can hear the passion behind the genre as a whole, rather than like the surface level appreciation that we get from a lot of passing conversations. Because it takes a deep dive, sometimes hour-long conversation to break through some of those personal barriers that stopped you from watching some of these films. I mean, look at how many people, I'm sure we all know at least one, that would say, I don't watch foreign films because I don't want to read the film, and they don't watch subtitles. And after Bong Joon-ho won the best picture Oscar, he has like one of the most famous quotes of all time now, is that couple inches of lettering at the bottom of the screen is keeping many people from some of the greatest cinema ever made. And I've said it so many times that it starts to sound fake and problematic and insincere, but every single film has been somebody's favorite film. And if you challenge yourself, you might find your favorite film that if you never challenge yourself, you never would have had the chance to see. So it is 100% worth it. DC. At the end of the day, Sight and Sound poll is still an aggregate, just like Rotten Tomatoes. It all comes down to which movies get added the most. People are going to do what they want, 100%. Skulder's here. What's going on, Skulder? Anthony says, the Discord has helped me blind buy a lot of stuff, and I have to say I've enjoyed about all of it. So thank you to all of you. Sardis here. Watching what everyone else watches can lead to a rut. I think you should step out of your comfort zone. Finding a film completely unknown to you that touches you in some way will expand your outlook. And Sardis is another one that is in our Discord, and Sardis is not on Letterboxd, but when he takes the time to watch a film and write his write-up on it and puts it, we have a channel for when we're watching something and our review on it, just so we can share with everybody because of stuff like this. Sardis will inspire you to watch a film that you've never considered that you should watch. And he has done it to me many times. And just recently, I promised Sardis that I would get a box set, the War Trilogy that just came out from Second Run. It's not in yet, but I will absolutely be watching it because of what Sardis has said. He has led to so many absolute discoveries for me that I would not have broadened my horizons in certain ways without his words of encouragement and him highlighting certain things. So it is sometimes the most likely and sometimes the most unlikely sources that you can get some of this inspiration from. Just make sure you're open to it. That's basically the heart of this entire thing. Kubrick says, that's why I like films from places like Iran. I put out a video today about my favorite new label, and one of them that I highlighted was Deaf Crocodile. And one of their releases this year did that like something that I've not seen in many, many, many years. And that is this Time-Bending Mysteries of Shahram Mokri. The films in this are astonishing. I would say one of them is like a great film that pretty much everybody would appreciate, but just being able to discover a director because of their culture that doesn't get enough any sort of attention. I love that some of these boutique labels are doing that for so many of us. It is so enriching and fulfilling as a film fan. Let's see. Terry, as much as I love certain actors and directors, I try not to take them all in at once. One, to savor the favorites, but one is to try to expand the horizons. It doesn't always happen, but I keep trying. Completely agree. John says, it is easy to fall into an anti-contemporary mindset in this hobby. 100%. I see that on Twitter a lot. People like to shit on new releases, but there's some legitimately great movies being released in all genres from all over the world. And I mean, there are strong arguments that we have literally some of the greatest filmmakers ever that are alive and working right now and have put out less than 10 films. And if people are so anti-current films that they won't go see anything, it is so much that you are just lambasting with a sweep of your hand that it is insulting, literally, completely insulting. But we're actually going to talk about that in another one in just a minute too. Let's see. Anthony says, thank you for recommending Emily the Criminal from John Amarsko. I enjoyed it. Yes, John is great for recommendations. Let's keep going. Planet Mondo says, I'm 4 subscribers from hitting 1,000. That was my goal before the end of the year. Everybody go do that. Planet Mondo is great. He makes some great videos. Again, really, really thoughtful and considerate in unboxing. So please go subscribe to Planet Mondo. He is absolutely great. See him around on Facebook all the time in all the groups. Planet Mondo is amazing. Let's see. Nathan's here. What's going on, Nathan? This seems like a Nathan conversation to be a part of tonight. DC purchased Thundercrack with my MVD sale. Am I in for a wild ride? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. Heard you talking about the Four Flies film during the Black Friday stream and watched four Argento films last month now. Always something to find, learn you love. Deep Red is amazing. Deep Red is one of the best of all time. Kubrick Lover says, used to have Criterion Channel, but I got a ton of Criterions to watch. That's true, too. Absolutely true. Let's see. Stan says, my experience with physical media goes way back to vinyl records and VHS and beta tape. That's the way to do it. I love the history that a lot of us have with physical media. It's so incredible. John says, After Sun is going to end up at number 1 for him this year. Damn. Wave, Criterion Channel and Mubi. Yes, I know. I think Celeste is saying Criterion. Yeah, Criterion is the best streaming service and it's not closed. Mubi is interesting because you can feel the human the human programming side of it that's not an algorithm, and it's wonderful to see. I love the fact that both of them are out there and doing what they can. Let's see. Ruben says, I like Kino, just don't like the art on their discs. And I get that. They're a little bland. I do tend to really like the black spines that all match. I don't know why. Let's see a few more. Man, lots of comments. Love this. All That Is Man said, my son found his favorite film today, and it's Ambulance. I love that Brian is sharing good contemporary fun filmmaking from an auteur. I would absolutely argue Michael Bay's an auteur with his son. Spaghetti, thank you for the kind words. I just love doing my part for the community. You absolutely better have put your letterboxd in the comments here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was Ambulance. I saw it on Twitter. Nice. Zach Bryant wanted to shout out Fishing Cat is amazing. One of the most unique slashers I've seen in a long time. And that was in the Sharam Mokri set from Deaf Crocodile. If you don't, make sure you pick that up. And the cool thing about that box set, the genres are wildly different. And it's from one director, 4 different films. Really great. A lot of people loving Fishing Cat. Planet Mondo says, I'm Iranian, still have to check out that set. Yes. All right. Scolder. I like foreign films. My favorite from the US. I brought this up in a video. I think it was with my sister. I said, or no, it was with my wife for a Patreon video. I said, why do we call them foreign films? Because even US films are foreign to other people. We should just call them like international films or something. Let's see. Spaghetti subbed to Planet Mondo. Thank you. Thank you. Ruben did as well. We should hit that 1,000 right now just to the scream. Look at that. Listen, might have been your 1,000. Thank you, guys. I love to see stuff like that. All right. I think I'm caught up with the comments. Let's go to the next one. That was Challenging Art. I'm going to go back to something that I mentioned just a minute ago. But before I do that, a really easy one. I'm not really like reaching the end of my like wish list for guests or anything. We are not short of people that I want to interview. I have tons of them. However, many people that I've reached out to and interviewed because of this channel have been from people suggesting them, primarily in the Discord, but there's a couple that have actually just cold emailed me and said, hey, you should reach out to this person. I think they'd be great on your channel. If you have anybody like that, or you know anybody in the industry or even tangentially related, I would love to have this very diverse piece of a small community that I can reach out to and get some sort of discussion going. If you have an idea for somebody or you know somebody, please email me. My email is in the description below, but just in case, it is disconnectedmedia@gmail.com. I've tried reaching out to some people that have never responded. I've tried reaching out to some people and they want to do it. It's just been very busy. But if it's somebody brand new, I do not mind asking some of these people to come on the channel. I've got a lot of great things that are in the hopper. They're already recorded. I've got some things that I want to do and then we are working on getting them done. But a lot of these, I just don't have an in with some people. So if you are connected to anybody, either give them my contact info or reach out to me. Or again, even if you're not connected, you just know somebody that I haven't interviewed that you think would be great, send me an email. I respond to everybody. Might take a little bit of time. I got a little bit of busyness going on, but I love getting these new diverse people on this channel. So yeah, absolutely. let me know. Send me an email. Next one. This one's going to hurt a little bit. I wanted to talk about another spectrum. I've mentioned a few different spectrums tonight. There is a spectrum of toxicity that is ridiculous in this hobby. We have seen some of the absolute worst toxic negativity that we've even discussed tonight with this whole translucent slipcover whining bullshit. But the other side is there's a lot of toxic positivity, and I have even been accused of that, of being too positive. And I got to be honest, I kind of want to laugh at that a little bit. I have this thing where I really just want to talk about things I like. If I don't like something, I don't really want to do a review on it. I don't really want to share it with the community, and there's a reason for that. I don't want to turn you away from something that you might love. But on the other hand, if I'm positive about something and you watch something, even if you don't like it, I liked it, and it's something that I can share with you. And if you can find something that you like because somebody else said they liked it, that's good. But turning away from art just because somebody else didn't like it is really never a great choice. So I really kind of wanted to throw out the idea of being wary of reviews, of criticism, of film criticism as a whole, and not just finding somebody that you can trust. And not even me. Go subscribe to a myriad of people. I would never say just listen to me, because I don't even feel like an authority on any of this. But we do not need to have this echo chamber of toxicity or positivity that is negative in the long run. I mean, Scream Factory is a great example of this. We have talked about Scream Factory all year. They put out some great films over the years, and in the last 18 months or so, they have done a lot of terrible things. They have messed up quite a few of their discs. They are just re-releasing a lot of 4Ks, and if you are only going to be somebody that says the nice things about them, it's not going to feel genuine. It's not going to feel like you're able to criticize them. It's not going to feel like you can be trusted. But at the same time, I don't want to be somebody that comes on here and just talks about things that I fucking hate. Like, why would I want to come make myself mad and feel emotionally down about things to discuss with all of you? It is ridiculous to embrace something negative and make it your personality. I could never do that. And based on that, I wanted to bring up the discussion here on how the internet has helped with film accessibility as a whole, but because it has allowed everybody to have this like democratized version of criticism, it can also sort of kill the idea of criticism as a whole. So looking back, like the golden ages of film criticism, and I know for some of you that have never paid attention, that might sound very weird, but to bring up some names that you'll recognize, 25 years ago, when everybody turned to Siskel and Ebert to find out whether a movie was good or bad, they were in that position for a reason. They had this growth of appeal to people, foundationed by their obscure knowledge on a lot of these films, that has allowed them to speak from a small position of authority. However, a lot of films that Siskel and Ebert criticized for being bad, we are buying for $40 and love watching now. So even they, who were the gods of film criticism for so many years, they were fallible. And that is like the bottom line here that we need to discuss. Every single person, every YouTuber, myself, everybody that is out here talking about these things are fallible. And if you are making your decisions based upon one person or even one community, it is never going to be something that you are growing from in a way that allows you to actually look at these pieces of art critically in a nuanced way. And that's what can be important here. So it is important to see, this ability to parse through a film's built the film's bones, basically, and the ideas and visual choices that they have and what purpose they have. It is valuable to interpret that to an audience that is not able to do that themselves. Completely valuable. But film Twitter and Facebook and people relying on the entire world to be able to share their opinion as facts is not inherently a great thing. It takes a lot to make somebody come out of their comfort zone to love a film. It hardly takes anything to turn somebody away from a piece of art. And so, one of the things that I really wanted to kind of shit on for a moment and be negative. Like I said, I'm not going to do this all the time or anything, but we discussed this on the Tuesday night stream with Jeremy Long a little bit. I am absolutely embarrassed for film criticism when when an outfit like Variety posts a worst of list for 2022. I don't I don't care what's on the list. Like, it's hilarious to me that Bones and All is on the list when there are countless independent films that were made this year with a cell phone that are not good in any semblance of the word. When all of those exist and we are seeing Variety on Twitter get thousands of retweets on a worst of list, and the people that were involved in making that film can see people sharing that opinion about this film being terrible, it is so negative and not even true film criticism that they should just not be doing it. They should not have that ability. It is something that can negatively impact somebody's career and therefore their life. Uh, I'm not saying that led to this, but the complete disarray that Warner Brothers has gone through over the last year and a half is kind of a good example of how some of this can be parsed through. Like, people dedicated a huge chunk of their life, sacrificed money, time with their kids. They traveled across countries to make Batgirl for Warner Brothers, and now we will never see it because somebody decided something needed to be shaken up. And that is ridiculous. It is completely embarrassing that somebody can remove the life's work of some of these individuals, what they were leading up to, what they deserve credit for, from existence. It is so damn toxic, and I know that those are separated by a few different small ideas, but today there are so many things that people take this personal offense when somebody says they don't like a film that they like, and that's because this sharing of opinions as fact has grown into this thing that people take personally, and it's beyond something that we are able to comprehend because we're still so young in the social media age. But I don't know. I obviously can't solve it. There's just so much surrounding it that this, I don't know. It's like this weaponization of feelings, and the fact that Variety can say that Bones and All is one of the worst films of the year. And again, I'm not defending Bones and All. It's just hilarious to me that it would be listed on a worst of list. It's that true film criticism in itself inherently is truly like an art form. It is something that it takes years to learn, to develop, and a skill that grows in a way that I mean, I've never done it. I'm not a film critic. I don't have that gift. But even I probably don't comprehend how much that takes. You can see some of the people that used to be in that position that legitimately they can't even hold that job anymore because social media has ruined it for them. And not that I'm defending film critics or something like that, just the idea of true film criticism, it is sort of been trampled upon, and something that is sad because we all have opinions, and that interpretation is a legitimate art form that we are losing more so every single day, period. I think it's time for me to dive into some of these comments because there's been a lot and I've just been ranting. I need more water too. Let me see. All righty. Kubrick Glover, I should interview Daisuke. I've tried. I can't get him to respond to me. I gotta be honest. Let's see. All That Is Man says if he ever gets it to 1,000, he'll do a face reveal. I mean, if that's not motivation to get everybody to go subscribe to All That Is Man, please do. Absolutely, please do that. I mean, I gotta be honest, I've seen his face, but it's a beautiful face that the world needs to see. So go subscribe. He's a fantastic person. Nathan says, I'll see what I can do. Always love seeing the different types of guests. Thanks, Nathan. That's amazing. Brian's here. Brian, you are fantastic. I'm glad to see your face in here tonight. All right. Planet Mondo, I think a balance is nice. Rants are sometimes fun, but overall, you don't want to be talking about things you enjoy. Otherwise, it's insane. And that's why I'm not going to get into naming certain accounts, but there's certain ones that will, they're like hyping up a video that they're doing in 5 days that they are actively saying, we're just going to shit on this one release or this one company. Why would I want to watch that? It's just a bunch of people being hateful together. That doesn't sound fun. Yes, sometimes people do get happy by talking about stuff they hate. Ruben, that doesn't make it great. Zach says, nuance in reviews is so hard to find. Clickbait journalism is the way to bring in clicks, so it's hard to blame them, but it's exhausting. 100%. Kubrick Lover, watched Siskel and Ebert, didn't always agree with them, but I like their discussions, and they were genuinely great at that, and that's why I certainly wanted to highlight them a little bit tonight. Wave says, I like to talk about things that I love. If I don't like something, I don't talk about it, or I say the film isn't for me. And that's the big one for me. I was just talking about this with my mom because we watched it in a Shudder video. Censor came out from Vinegar Syndrome and Second Sight. I think those were both 2021 releases. That film, everybody else, it seems like, besides me, loved that film. Thought it was incredible, top of the list, nominated for Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Got tons of accolades. I didn't like it. I liked the lead in. I didn't like the third act, and I felt like it fell apart. And I've never told somebody not to watch it. All I say is it wasn't for me. It's something that I wanted to like, and I went into it very hopeful. I just didn't love it. DC, can we discuss the toxicity of people going back and forth about transfers as if they were all raised in an editing bay? Just causes so much upheaval and many times false information. Yeah, I could literally talk about misinformation on here for the next hour and a half. I not sure how much I've shared this. I know it's been in a couple guest spots I've done on other channels, but one of the reasons I started this channel is because I was seeing misinformation on the other big physical media YouTube channels that just straight pissed me off. Like, you can Google this one piece of information that you're saying and that you're repeating over and over again in this video many times and speaking from a place of authority that we can all see is just wrong. And you're telling people that are, this video is going to get 11,000 views. Why are you telling people that if you don't know what you're talking about? And not that I know everything. I've made mistakes and I happily own up to them. However, I believe through my heart of hearts that I have made less mistakes than some of these other major physical media YouTubers that are just kind of speaking out of their ass. A lot of them that are into this, they are on the very surface level side, and they like movies, and that's great. I'm not taking that away from them. But when they speak from a place of authority about things like transfers and restorations and labels and how they work and how rights work, it's not something that is easy to get wrong. Even it's something that a lot of those situations are very cut and dry, so it's odd. Anyways, Spaghetti says value is in the constructive nature of things. Completely. People should be allowed to challenge concepts rather than bash or bandwagon. People think challenge is only negative, but the term goes both ways. And on top of that, the bandwagoning is, I think, the worst part of this, because you see in places like Reddit is the absolute worst for this, because somebody will be scrolling by a post and downvote it just because it was already downvoted by other people. Not even reading it, just downvote it, and just blindly downvote it. And I'm not even necessarily talking about films. It could be about any post, but that mindset of, I see negative, I'm just going to add a negative to it. What? Like, how is that even a psychological thing that we're driven to do? It's just to be a part of this group. But come on, I mean, there's so much more to that. Stan says, I valued the discussion, whether I agreed with them or not. Exactly. Completely agree. That's about Siskel and Ebert. Eric loved Siskel and Ebert, and they are largely responsible for my love of film. I mean, that's for a generation. I would say that they would agree with that sentence. I disagreed with them frequently, but when I knew nothing, they were a great source of information. And they were not only a great source of information for like millions of Americans, they were the sole source of information for years. And it's crazy how much power they had for a while, but also they earned a lot of that, and I couldn't possibly take that away from them. Anthony Siskel and Ebert would be pissed at my movie collection. This is so true. Let's see. Nathan says, I feel like there's too many voices. 100%. I don't think my voice has much say. For me, I get sick of the keeping up with the Joneses. Nice. It's important to have decent thought leaders, and if we don't have that, and if we don't see them as decent thought leaders, it is just a cacophony of voices, and it turns into mush. And what does that do for us? Literally nothing. When you can't parse through the voices to discover what is good information, what good are those voices in your life? Genuinely. John Stump, I'm so tired of people freaking out over small details. It's like they don't even want to watch the movie they bought, only go over the specs. And I mean, not that I use the site frequently. I literally showed it during this stream tonight, but the Blu-ray.com forums are the absolute worst for this. There are people that the moment I get the film, I'm going on the computer to look at the array. I'm looking at the compression. I'm looking at the bit rate just to argue with people online. And my God, like where is the joy in that? I don't understand it. Kubrick wanted to point out Siskel and Ebert did a top 10 worst and the top 10 best films of the year at the end of each year. And I would argue with some of that. I mean, the fact that they didn't watch everything, how can you possibly list a top 10 worst? A top 10 best, I could see the argument for, but top 10 worst? I bet there's a lot smaller films that you never saw that would have been much worse. Ruben wanted to say the Ebert doc was very sad. I still need to see that. Holland Oates is here. What's up, Holland Oates? Don't know what was disgusting, but yeah. Let's see. Kubrick lover. I get sort of sick a little bit of movies outside packaging. I care more about the movie and special features. I completely understand that. Wave watched the Siskel and Ebert show a lot back then, but always had my own opinion on everything. Never rely on someone else to form your opinions on something. Watch it and feel something for yourself about art, but do it in a way that educates yourself and can add to your perspective, and not allow your perspective to say they're wrong because of my perspective. That's the biggest thing. And I know that you're saying that. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Wave. Absolutely. What you said is completely true. Just want to throw out there that your perspective is what people are not even addressing in these conversations today. And a lot of this, it leads into other topics. Like it's easy to shit on politics, and we're not going to get into that at all on this channel, but it informs a lot of those decisions in the same way. People are making decisions for others based on their perspectives on both ends of the political spectrum, without saying somebody else is going through something, and that should also color my perspective to allow me to choose something that is potentially better, because you are viewing your own perspective as superior. And that's where we lose all credibility. That is where everything fails for us as a human. 100%. Dave says, I saw a YouTube video today about how the mid-range budget films are being wiped out. It's either low-budget indie films or blockbusters. That might have been me. I've said that like 4 times in the last like 6 weeks. It is something that I noticed earlier this year that has been killing me. Yeah, I've absolutely been saying that. Chester watched Siskel and Ebert each week. I love to hear that. Absolutely, Kubrick. This is great. I think you can expand your thoughts about film by watching and reading film criticism. 100%. When I mentioned earlier Celeste videos, they are the analysis that they do on some of these films. Like in our conversation and in the Discord the other day, I mentioned this, but genuinely one of my favorite things from the second half of 2022 was Celeste's analysis of Barbarian, and reading that as true art form with a capital A sort of focus on film criticism was one of the things that made me love Barbarian way more than I thought I did when I left the theater. And I I am grateful as a movie watcher to have had that experience from Celeste as well, to inform my brain in a way that I did not have my perspective on it inform that. So you have to grow through films, but also through film criticism when you want to get the entire picture of the art form. Period. Good comment from Zach. It's also turned into a sport. I'll never understand people wanting certain movies to fail, like they cannot fathom people enjoying something they don't. But that idea has become so popular recently. Look at Don't Worry, Darling this year. That was a shit show, and so many people were shitting on it before it even premiered. Avatar. I've not seen the newest Avatar. I didn't love the first one. I don't know if I would love this new one, but so many people, the first night they were calling it a flop, and it's $1 billion movie now. I mean, come on, ridiculous. Yeah, and completely agree, Kubrick. Have your own opinion. Just allow it to be open to change, and understanding that your perspective is not superior because it's yours. DC got lambasted for loving Blonde, and I guarantee most people putting it down the line didn't watch it, but just jumped on the bandwagon. Absolutely. This is a good point from Lissa. I don't understand the obsession with disc specs since I was around when VHS was big. Yeah, I mean, the amount of times that many of us in the chat, because a lot of us are not, 20 or below, have watched on previous generations on terrible CRT TVs or Betamax or whatever in really fuzzy releases. Yeah, it's hilarious to see arguments on disc specs sometimes and looking back on what we watched. Yeah, Ragnar, obviously positive and negative opinions. There will always be both, 100%. We just gotta parse through what is good and what is something that is constructive to us as humans. Terry says, I think Joe Dante was someone who said it is not fair to review a year in film in real time. It usually takes a decade or so to truly understand a certain year. And I will argue that can be applied not just to reviewing a year in film, but reviewing like historical events and reviewing the effect of things like the pandemic. The fact that we are having films made about the pandemic already when we're in the pandemic is sort of weird to me. Not that I loved Kimmy this year, and that's very much a pandemic film, but it is something where it's going to take 7 or 8 more years for us to truly understand what 2022 was in regards to a lot of this. And I don't know, that is a very, very good point. And again, not just about reviewing things, but creating things and having perspective on things. Maybe that's the best way to say it. It's hard to have perspective on something that you're still in and being affected by. That's tough. KB is here. What's up, KB? Film criticism, especially online, is a toxic, mechanized form of marketing. 100%. Very well said. The art of it is dwindling day by day, and we are watering it down like crazy. Sardis says, some people you have to ignore. Enough people ignore them. They go away eventually. I tried to learn about criticism, but it took the joy of the film itself away. I think it depends on the type of criticism. I get that, though. Flex is going on. What's going on, Flex? Diabolic DVD doing a better job with packaging when shipping. I've never known them to be bad. What's happened with Diabolic? Let's see. Music criticism littered with bands and albums that were written off entirely, and now they're celebrated. And that's the same with films and everything. Man, there are so many comments. I love this. Remember seeing people trash the Craft 4K release and hadn't even seen it in playback. They just went with other people wrote. Absolutely. Are you upset Henry Cavill is no longer Superman? Do you agree with Warner Brothers redoing the DC? Flex, this is going to sound ridiculous. I just happened to have literally not seen a film with Henry Cavill playing Superman. I don't understand the mechanisms behind redoing all of Warner Brothers. It does seem to me like it might be better to redo the whole DC extended universe, because what people have reacted to, they've seen it's not what they've been churning out already. So I get that part. Henry Cavill has been great in the other things I've seen him in, and I think he will make some great other choices. What else do we got? Sardis doesn't read social media or watch trailers. I've tried to stay away from the trailers thing myself quite a bit. Some of the teasers are right, but man, those long, like 2.5-minute trailers kind of suck nowadays. I came back to check out Royal Rumble for wrestling. Man. Nathan, he is crashing soon. Good night, Nathan. Have a good night. I know you got to wake up early. Paul says, I like using Letterboxd to get a sense of general sentiment from a wide audience. While true, I will argue there's also a lot of pretension on Letterboxd. A lot. Motto says, I hate Marvel movies. Guess how many Marvel videos I made? 0. Easy enough. Completely easy. Let's see what else we got. Eric, even seeing things in the theater didn't promise a perfect image. How many films did I watch that were scratched up, missing frames? And I mentioned this one previously. The time that I went and saw The Green Knight in theaters upon release, the bulb was like 35 years old and ruined the picture experience. I'm so glad that I gave it another chance at home. Let's see. Pioneer says, I respect you and your channel, Ryan, but I think in a sea of mass content and less time, I wish critics, professional and average filmgoers, would be more critical. Not every 3-star film is great. And no, that's why they're 3-star films, 100%. And that's why most of those people are not actual critics, I would argue. Obviously, we need people to praise proper filmmaking and be able to be critical about improper filmmaking and storytelling as a whole. But it is the overall sense of everybody's a film critic that leads to the watering down of those 3-star films. And I think that's what I was really trying to get at there. DC, it's amusing to go back and read DVD or even Blu-ray reviews for stuff that is now out on 4K with reviewers saying, buy it, it'll never look better. But now they say the 4K is a vast difference. That has happened for many of those films. All right. Couple more, and then going back to, I've got just a couple more things left to say, and then we can call it a night. This is already longer than I expected. Brian says, I wonder if superhero movies will die out like Westerns did. Of course they will, at least for a little while. Everything is on a death knell eventually. It's not going to die forever, but it's a cycle. The most common cycle, especially when it comes to genre film, which a lot of us on these types of channels and this community have gravitated to, is the cycle between vampires and zombies. And if you look back through classic film, they are popular at different times. They seem to go in these weird up and down cycles. Not that there were never vampire films made while zombie films were popular, but yeah, everything is cyclical. The superhero movies will leave. We will get some great Westerns again. And not that we haven't in the last, 15 years. There's still been some great ones. But yeah, superheroes will definitely go away for a while, at least. And eventually we will discover something else en masse for us to love as a whole. Planet Wando is asking if I've seen The Whale yet. I have not. Literally just talked to Cam, somebody that's in the chat all the time. He's there. Not sure if he's still here tonight, but he was here earlier about seeing it. He went and saw it today. I've not been able to see it. I've been going through a lot of stuff at home, actually. I'm being vulnerable tonight. Why not share it? I've had a lot of medical stuff going on in my entire family over the last couple months. For those that may not know or may not remember, my mom just moved in with me. She's watching the stream from like 40 feet away, probably. She has been going through a lot of stuff for herself. She's not been able to get in to see a doctor because places in Kansas City right now, they say they're seeing first-time patients, but it's like a 7-month wait, legitimately. So she's not able to get in to get some of her prescriptions filled. So she's not been doing great. My wife has been going through like 19 different things for her entire life, and it's been a really hard few months for her. I've been in a hell of a lot of pain with my foot. People that have been watching the channel for the last couple of years, you'll know I've had 2 surgeries on my left foot in a way that has been debilitating. It's hard for me to walk like a mile when I used to walk 10 miles at a time, genuinely. So that's been tough. But then in the last month, my kids have both gotten sick. My wife got sick. My wife hasn't had a voice in like 5 days, and I feel terrible for her. So yeah, I've not been able to get out of the house to go see a film. Oh gosh, I think the last one I went to was Black Panther. And even then, like right now, my kids are at home on winter break with me on at home on vacation, and because I'm doing so much for them all day long, I'm exhausted when they go to bed. And unless I'm doing a stream and you guys are energizing me, I'm passing out pretty much immediately. A lot of other nights, I'm not watching much of anything. So it's been it's been a crazy time. I'm dying to see the whale. There's about 15 films from this year that are on my like I have to see this now list, and I can't seem to cross any of them off, and it's pissing me off for sure. What else we got? Film criticism and film reviewing are not the same thing, 100%, and both can be detrimental to a film legitimately, and both can be helpful to a film legitimately. The important thing is to parse through the noise and the absolute wasted words out there. Let's see. I love the simplicity in Sardis's comment here. I don't rate films. There are two categories only. Have I seen it or have I not seen it? That's perfect. DC says for trailers, less is more. Look at Barbarian's first trailer. Not everyone likes the remake of TCM, but check out the band blank screen audio only trailer. Amazing. Agreed. What else do we got? Ruben loved the Batman just like me. Yeah, I adored the Batman. Hall & Oates wants all of the vampire and zombie films. And I will say it now. Renfield coming out in 2023. Please be the thing that drives down zombies. We've been fighting zombies culturally since Shaun of the Dead was released, but it really didn't hit like that mass existence until we got The Walking Dead, obviously. And I think that was, oh gosh, what year did The Walking Dead TV show premiere? Was that 2010? I want to say it was like October 2010, and it's just been all zombies that whole time. We've gotten zombie other movies that are not Walking Dead related. We've got zombie video games. We've gotten zombie TV shows. Walking Dead has multiple spin-offs. Ridiculous. Let's get vampire films back, and that's why I want Renfield to be the thing that brings it back. Brian says time for musicals to make a massive comeback. I like it. One of my favorites from the last few years is a zombie film that we just talked about the other night, Anna and the Apocalypse. Let's see what else we got. Kubrick, sorry to hear that disconnected. My name is Ryan, right? Yep, it's right there on the screen in that corner. There it is. That's my name. Brian is talking to my mom. Your son is one of the most kind-hearted people I know. Glad to call him a good. Thanks, Brian. Let's see. I'm convinced that Ryan is a robot. Jeremy, you're amazing. He plugs himself in for a quick charge like the new iPhone 14 for only an hour at night. Why does that sound like an ad? And somehow accomplishes 500 things in a day where the rest of us do 3. No, that's just ADHD making me be too productive. Not sure if it helps at all. Is there any chance your mom could get into Carbon Health? They are an independent health organization, but perhaps they can help. I'll look it up. Thanks. Have had to cut down on my media purchases. There are too many films, 100% in my collection that I've not watched or appreciated in full more than once. Trying to correct that. Good. Jeremy said, I was almost going to say Ryan does not sleep, but then I remembered I've seen it happen with my own eyes. Yes, you have. Not many people in the chat can say that. Just started the TV version of What We Do in the Shadows right before the stream tonight, and I've not started the TV show. I really need to watch it because I love the film. Let's see. Never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre before. I'm waiting until the second site release to watch it for the first time. Damn. 2023, a year of discovery for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is amazing. Wow. Griff just watched My Grandpa's a Vampire. That was Severn put it out this year. Bring back the giant bug era. Yes, I love some of those old films. Ryan, did I see Victoria from 2015? Absolutely fabulous. 2015 Victoria. There's a couple films with that name. Is that the one? I think it was Dark Star, the Vinegar Syndrome partner label, just released recently. I don't think I've seen that one. Not to sound like it's an insult, but King Dingaling, that's the name you have associated there. Kubrick, don't be sorry. It's not a big deal. Yep, I'm Ryan. Brian wants a werewolf cycle to return. Yeah. I think we're due. What was the last good werewolf film? Even the last good one. Man, because I know that there was that Anthony Hopkins film that I remember not liking when that came out. John, my friend John Stumpf, if we're spending the time here voicing concerns and frustrations within the film community, can we please, as a community, come to the agreement that underrated and underseen aren't the same either? Oh my God, thank you. Yes, this is absolutely true. Let's define them. Underrated. People think that this movie is terrible, but it's actually great, and we can agree on that as a community. Or underseen. Too many people have literally never, with their eyes, watched the movie. Not the same thing. A movie can't be underrated because people haven't seen it. That's the difference. Sardis wants more nudist films with ordinary people instead of models, and we can thank Something Weird for a lot of that output. Let's see. What is the poster behind your head? Something of the year. This is I think I talked about this on the channel, but just in case, this is a poster that is lit up from behind, and this was made by a patron and sent to me, and it was amazing. And the patron's name is Matt, I believe. Hopefully my memory's not failing me and I'm getting mixed up here. He sent this to me after he made it himself. I'm going to move the laptop. Hopefully it doesn't make it jittery too much. This is the entire poster. It says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And the cool thing is it flips out really easy to be able to change it. There we go. And I'm going to be switching that out every so often, so I don't always have the exact same background. That is really difficult to see. So yeah, that's cool. Let's see. Bomb at the box office does not necessarily equal lack of quality. Oh my gosh, so true. How there are lots of films that have bombed that are amazing. There are lots of financially ruined films that are incredible, completely. Let's see. John says, "I can. You may have fallen asleep watching Hack-A-Lantern." Oh, I definitely fell asleep while watching Hack-A-Lantern. That's right. KB just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre after, or I think it was in preparation for one of your conversations, right? The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's Jim Cummings. I think that's his last name. That's a good one. Wolf Cop. I've not seen the sequel, but the first Wolf Cop is a lot of fun. Oh God, those that have read my thoughts on Teen Wolf this year, please no more Teen Wolf. Finally watched Malibu High, and I now know why it's so beloved. It's such a fun movie, and that poster that was on the original Vinegar Syndrome release is so misleading. Heard The Curse was good. I need to see that. Yeah, lots of good reviews. We've been talking about reviews tonight. Ginger Snaps. This is where I fail a lot of you maybe. I didn't love Ginger Snaps. I don't know if it's because it's so pointed towards the female experience. It just didn't connect with me. I need to see the sequels though and see if maybe like the universe that it's in appeals to me more after all those. Let's see what we got. That's a really funny comment, Jeremy. We really haven't had a solid werewolf movie cycle. Vamps and zombies get bigger, and they always do. Absolutely. King Dingling, Victoria 2015 is shot in one shot, a party coming of age film that turns into a bank robber action drama. Interesting. That sequence of words is very appealing. That sounds fantastic. Can we let the idea of box office go? Yes, please. 100%. Dog Soldiers. Love Dog Soldiers. Do you remember when that French Andrei Zalowski box set's coming out again? Pre-ordered and forgot everything is in French. Yeah, that's right. In the comments, I forgot you did that. I think that was February, if I remember right. And if you want to go look it up, that release is coming from Le Chat Qui Fume, which in English is The Smoking Cat. So you can find them on Facebook, and you should be able to find that pretty quick. Or even don't forget the Blu-ray.com website. If you make that global, you can look up releases from the label, or you can look up, if you remember one of the films that were in there, because I don't offhand, you can look that up specifically and it will show you the release date as well. All right. I've got just a few more things to throw out, and probably going to call this a night soon. I am so grateful that there's still almost 70 of you watching this live. I love this. One thing that helps a lot, if you support this channel in any way, or like this channel, or like being a part of the community, there's a couple things that you can do to assist, and it does mean a lot to me. Not just obviously, hopefully you saw earlier, I have like a really tiny ego, and I'm not just looking for that dopamine boost or anything like that. But if you watch this on YouTube, there's not a great way to do this. But if you listen by podcast, and don't forget, this is going out as audio tomorrow morning for everybody in the world to be able to download. And not that I've been like steadying eye on the numbers or anything like that. It's reaching quite a lot of people. If you feel it within yourself, please go give a review on any of your podcast sites, whether that be Spotify, obviously Apple iTunes. Their Apple's podcast system is the biggest, so that actually does the most to help like boost it to more people within that community. One of the other things that you can do is similar to writing a review for like the podcast, is just to share it. I know that I'm reaching you guys, and this is a great community, and I'm always looking to have a bigger community and just bring more people into the fold and learn from other perspectives, because I learn a lot of shit from you all. So please, absolutely, by all means, share this with as many people as you can. Not that I will ever push for this, but I've had people ask for this, and again, this is why I never push for this, because I'm not trying to sound like I'm begging for it in any way, and I literally never will, I promise. But two things that people have asked about is the ability to donate to the channel, and the ability to send me something because they want me to see something, or they've created something that they want to share with the community or with me, and just get more eyes on it. I completely get that, and I'm more than happy to share with the world, as long as it's something that I don't see as hateful to any group or anything like that. I have a PO box, and if you want that, just send me an email. I absolutely love that. If you are interested in donating, there's multiple links in the description below. But the thing that is most fulfilling to me, and I hate to do this because it's behind a paywall, but the Patreon is really the best way to support this channel directly, because not only is it able to give back some of this, because like my streaming service that I'm doing to be able to share with all of you right now, I pay for this every year. It's on a subscription. I'm losing money every single year. The Shelf Shock Awards, out of pocket, I paid for things to be able to put on the Shelf Shock Awards, and I'm genuinely willing to do that just because I support this community. Other than a lot of those things that are ongoing charges, I'm never going to make money doing this, and I know that, and I'm not upset about that. I will still do this no matter what. But the Patreon genuinely is I think one of the best ways to do it, because other than, like I was getting at, other than the monetary help with the reimbursing of my subscriptions for this, I feel enriched when we have this ongoing conversation in the Discord. And oh my gosh, it is always shocking to me when I go do an interview with someone like we'll say one of the big ones this year, when I for some reason had a lot of people talking at the same time. I interviewed Fran from Radiance Films, and when I got done with that one conversation that was like 85 minutes long, I go back to the Discord afterwards, and there's literally like 35 messages for me to read through. I can go on vacation for a week, and the complete like robustness of my community that's in that Discord, we have all just grown to be genuine friends. And while I could be gone, they all moderate themselves and stay positive and keep talking. That's the big thing. We all look forward to the discussions in the Discord. So if you are curious about it, join for a month, check it out, and if you don't like it, leave. Not a big deal. The different levels on the Patreon, I'm not going to pitch this all the time again, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm begging or anything, but the second tier gets you into the Discord, and then that third tier is great because it also puts you into a giveaway every single month that I send a pack of boutique stuff to a lucky winner, and it's always random draw. I've had I think 2 people have won twice this year. Cam was the first one, but Sardis in the chat, he just won, and I'm about to send him something out this week, and happy to do that every single month. I appreciate the Discord, the Patreon. I put out my own videos that people in the Discord are seemingly into, and I might after a long period of time might start putting some of those on the channel so people can see what has happened in the past. But like the best thing that I've loved and gotten a little bit of good feedback, I bring my kids on sometimes for pickup videos, and my youngest is 6, my oldest is 7, and I have them look at a movie that came in. Let's see, what's a good one. This would be a fun one. I asked them, like, hey, I just got this in. This movie's called God Told Me To. Look at the picture, and what do you think this movie's going to be about? And a 6-year-old looks at my movie and makes a judgment based about that. And sometimes it's hilarious. Other times it is existential as fuck. One of the films recently had the word hell in it, and so while I'm recording this video, I had to explain to my 6-year-old hell is, and then go into this diatribe of some people believe in this place and blah blah blah. And, but we'll talk about that when you're older and can understand it more, okay? And he was like, okay, and we just kept going on. It was hilarious. But yeah, a lot of those videos you'll only get on the Patreon, and I appreciate that. But if you're looking for other ways, YouTube's got the super chat. If you ever want to use that, definitely not going to turn it down. It'll highlight your comments on the channel, obviously. You can do that right under where you're typing in your chat comments. And again, the main thing is that if you want to help this channel, is just through growth. The way that this community gets better is by more perspectives, and seeing people share my channel and my response, like, hey, somebody asks about Hamilton books all the time, and I pretty much every time I see a question about that, somebody in the chat goes and shares my video that I did that was a guide to Hamilton books, everything that you need to know about that, and I loved that. That's it though. That's all I've got for tonight. I'm gonna go through the comments one last time. If anybody else has any questions for me as a person about my background, I'm willing to stay and talk and be vulnerable. If you have anything that you want to discuss widely on 2022 as a whole in response, I've still got some best of videos I'm gonna put out, so I don't want to go into too many details on those to give away. It would kind of be odd to spoil some of the videos I already have recorded and scheduled to go live. But yeah, if you want to talk about like how the year feels for physical media or anything else, just ask some questions in the chat. We'll dive into that. We'll give us a good 5 minutes at the very least, and then we'll call it a night. But before I go to the comments, just again, thank you all. Thank you for being here for 5-hour streams, for helping me be able to track down somebody like Fran from Radiance Films and call somebody like Kat Ellinger a friend, and know that if I want to record with some of these people again, they're more than willing to come back because they've seen the positive interactions. And it's amazing to see. I've seen people, because I am like personal friends on Facebook with some of them, I've seen people share some of the comments that you all have made on the interview videos as something that they're proud of. Literally, like, I don't want to name names, but a couple of them, they read the comments on our discussions, and they will share it with their friends that they liked seeing this. One that I think he would be happy to do this, Justin LaLiberty from Vinegar Syndrome. It wasn't about a comment, just that he was proud of the way our conversation went when he was on at the beginning of December. And it's because of you all that these conversations are happening, these comments are made, that the feedback is drafted that way, and you keep this rolling. You are completely adding to it and energizing it more than you could ever possibly know. Let's see. One of the VS partner labels should re-release the film Victoria here in the States. Yeah, completely agree. Sounds amazing. Justin Robbins says Werewolves Within was a lot of fun. Another good Josh Rubin film. Yeah, he was just on here earlier this month as well. Wave says if it's on iTunes podcast, I'll add it. Yes, it is absolutely on iTunes. It's on everything. Spotify, Stitcher. I don't even know all the ones that I added it to for sure. what else do we got? Mondo, I'll start plugging you on our podcast. Thanks. We have a decent sized show with 100 patrons. That's fantastic. Not a movie based podcast. That's amazing. What is the podcast name? Let me know in the chat. I didn't realize. Oh wait, yeah, I did, and I will completely own up to this. You told me about that the last time when I commented, I think, on one of your unboxing videos, and I meant to go download it, and I don't think I did. But remind me the name of it, and I will absolutely make it a point to add it before I even go out of here tonight. That I apologize, Mondo. I was supposed to check it out previously, and when I say that, I check out everything that I tell people I will for sure. Eric highly recommends the Patreon. Thank you. The Discord discussions are outstanding. So does Jeremy Long. Second, the Patreon recommendation. Highlight of my week, and every week is that Discord. Yes, Ragnar, thank you. Don't forget, this is the last weekend to pre-order City of the Living Dead from Cauldron at the low price. I think they said it's going up like $5 or $6 after the first. So yeah, if you want it, make sure you get it. Anthony, the Patreon is great. Ryan helps us get great deals. I have a deals channel that I add in there. Monthly movie watch along. I completely forgot to do that. We watch a movie together every single month. Usually it's the last Sunday of every month, and we get to chat or talk over it depending on the film. And we have the last, I think, 3 months now just decided to stay on the voice chat, and we just discuss for hours about all kinds of things, just see what comes up. I guess Spaghetti has made a new rule. Pants are optional in the Discord. That's true. Mondo, thank you. I am the angel and the devil on Jeremy's shoulder. Wave says, I'm looking at the Patreon. Link is in the description below. One of the few places pants are optional. The youngest one is the cutest. I've seen him do that. Yes. So KB and I and Nathan Jones, who was in the chat earlier, we all went to Barnes & Noble for the last sale, and I brought the youngest, and oh man, it was hilarious. Anyone else really digging Air 4444? Reminds me of Mondo Macabro. I get that. Obviously a little Asian focused compared to Mondo, but yeah, I can see that comparison for sure. I should mention the Amazon shopping link. Yeah, I do have that below if you want. I've got if you do shop through Amazon, I've got a affiliate link down there. If you make that your bookmark for Amazon, I get like pennies literally for every $100 that you spend. Is hardly anything. It doesn't cost you anything. Amazon just gives a slight amount to me as an affiliate. But yeah, if you make that your bookmark, it'll give a tiny little kickback to the channel. But in all reality, I would shout out, make your Amazon Smile partner AGFA so that they, as a nonprofit, get kickbacks instead of me. I think that's more important. Sardis is finally giving Air a shot. Yeah, I've been talking to him about that. Dead Sea Life, what do you do or collect that has nothing to do with movies? That is a great question. I'm fat, so this should be obvious, but I really love eating. Through the pandemic, I have really tried to learn some better techniques for cooking. Just tonight, I don't know if I can share it on here, but I shared it in the Discord. I felt pretty proud of what I made tonight, and they don't photograph super well. But I made these wonderful street tacos, grilled the tortillas, made the chicken myself, pulled it and everything. I got like street corn on there. I've got some black beans, fantastic. I hesitate to call myself mastered this, but I feel like I've gotten really good at frying like really great fried chicken. And I love hot sauce. Brian actually in the chat sent me some hot peppers that he grew. So good. But I love hot sauce so much that I made the goal for myself that I wanted to make a really great Nashville hot chicken sandwich. Oh my God. I've made it probably 5 or 6 times in the last couple of years, and it is incredible. Absolutely love Nashville hot chicken sandwiches. Mondo says, Air sent me my package and the discs were missing. Odd. Contacted them and they had the discs out the same day. Very easy to deal with. And that's another reminder. Open your shit. This kind of thing happens so much more than you think. It should be right here. These ones. So when Severin originally put out these Video Nasties definitive guide, they have two versions. People were buying these and opening them and realizing that the discs for Volume 2 were the discs from Volume 1. It was the exact same discs in both. And so because of that, people had to call in and get it, or not call in, had to email in. But unfortunately, lots of people weren't opening them for months or a year plus, and people discovering later that it was like that. And that's kind of hard to try to get free discs sent to you after that long. Obviously, if you made the order through them, it is easier to argue because it should be in your order history. But yeah, gotta watch out for that stuff. Stan says it's worth repeating. The show is truly educational. Thanks, Stan. I still need to have you on one of these days. Jeremy says, in all seriousness, can't quite even remember how I met or became friends with Ryan, but I'm thankful every day that he's in my life. Genuine, one of a kind, and better than half my LA friends. And I've met you in person. That is okay. So one more thing for 2022 to throw out about this. The fact that I've met like 6 or 7 people from this channel in person is remarkable. That is incredible. And oh my gosh, it is so fantastic to meet people that you know in real life that are passionate about the same thing, and people that don't have that. When it's hard to explain to people that are into something like sports, because you can find anybody around you that's into football, but physical media, most of us don't have 8 people around us that we can point to and say, yeah, they all love physical media, they all love buying movies. Just having these people, it helps so much. Planet Mondo podcast is called Break the Apocalypse. I am subscribing right this moment, and I will even show it after this. I use the podcast app Overcast on iPhone, and I believe it's on Android as well. Break the Apocalypse. And I don't even care what it's about. I'm going to listen and support it and try to learn something from it. John Draper, Shaw, and Show Brian. As long as this is the one, and it looks like it, this is the one that I am now following. Look at that. I will definitely give it a listen. Thanks, Mondo. Interesting. I will check it out. Odd conversation to see this comment. There's already a real-life Asian male porn star named Jeremy Long. Interesting. Brian, are you trying to make me feel bad with your luxurious hair? Okay, here's the truth. I'm obviously not like very old, but I will likely never go bald. I don't know what it is. My genetics. People in my family just don't go bald. My wife has even said that she'll probably go bald before me. King Dingling, if he's looking, hey Justin, let's get Victoria 2015 with extras as my copy as Jack Shit and Jack Left Town. Oh man. Let's see what else we got. Super legit company. They were late on the latest release, talking about Air 44, but they really made up for it with the quality of the product. Yeah, do I have it close by? I feel like I just saw it. I must have put it away already. Great release from them this time around, for sure. I desperately need to watch the films. I watched a couple of the extras, but oh man. Scolder, I like eating too. Try to eat every day. Let's see what else we do. We do an episode while eating hotter and hotter wings. Funny you say that. I don't know if you saw, Stan. I did a hot sauce challenge with my kid on this channel. My oldest, I think he saw something on YouTube and said, "Dad, we got to do this for your channel." And we went basically through the Hot Ones gauntlet and went all the way through the last dab. And my 7-year-old had the last dab. So proud, absolutely proud. Now they are collectible. DC, if you had to guess, what unexpected title do you think will be released this year? Ooh. I'm assuming something like a Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Ooh, great question. I think before the end of the year, and maybe this isn't too unexpected. I feel like before the end of the year, we get a 4K of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but that's it. I don't think we get any of the other ones in any, and I don't even think we get the first one in a boutique treatment. I think the studio puts it out because, I mean, look, New Line milked Freddy for all of the money ever for years. And I 100% believe that they will put out the 4K of the first one themselves. And then if they somehow ever get scans of the sequels, they may license it to a boutique for a box set, but I don't see that happening anytime soon at all. However, when I and Cam from the chat, who surprised me by driving from St. Louis to Kansas City, we all went to this wonderful theater here in Kansas City. Oh, and KB Loves Movies, who's also in the chat, he was there as well. We went to a marathon of the 8 Nightmare on Elm Street films. They showed everything from the very first one to Freddy versus Jason, except the remake, of course. And it was incredible. But when they showed it, I think accurately, the owner of the theater stepped out and said that the first one was from a new 4K restoration. So I don't know if that's like low-key information or whatever, but I do think that there's a high chance that we get the first one only in 4K from the studio before the end of this year. Ruben says, I had Asian spiced hot wings. Love that. That's amazing. Are the coupons for Vinegar Syndrome stackable? The Black Friday coupon and the subscriber re-up coupon, didn't say anything about that. They are not. If you are a current subscriber for 2022, you should not have bought the Black Friday coupon. And it did specifically say that you will not be able to use that at all. The coupon that we just got for the code for, I think it was $70 off to subscribe for next year, that is the only one that you can use at once. Or, I mean, you can use either one, I'm sure, for the next one. But yeah, they only allow you to use once. And then once you put one in, the field to enter one disappears. Dead Sea Life, we should rent a party bus and drive from New York to Missouri. Hell yeah, do it. Although I kind of want to go that way. I really want to have a pilgrimage soon and go to Grindhouse Video, Orbit DVD, the Archive in Connecticut, and see New York. I've never seen New York at all. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to go that way. Chester, curious, have you met Flip in person? I've not. We've been trying to do it for a couple years, but he is so absorbed with the restaurant. He is essentially running it. I mean, after we record podcasts, he literally goes and washes the entire restaurant for hours. If you're wondering how I do it, like, I don't understand how that guy lives his life at all. There is so much that Flip does that is just behind the scenes, and he's had a really hard year as well. He's had a lot of family deaths this year. Moto says, that's the one. Glad I got it. Good. Sardis is asking, what is the subject matter on that podcast? Amato answered, we talk about everything with a comedic twist. The show started out during COVID, got tired of everyone reporting news in a depressing way, so we covered everything happening with some laughs. That sounds fun. Is that a Centipede horror shirt? It is, absolutely. Yeah, this is the one that came in that big bundle from them. To clarify, with the Vinegar Syndrome post today, will the Thriller box be available by itself or with both individual sets included? Just wasn't sure. It will be the entire release, the slip box with the 2 slip covers on the inside with the 4K for both versions of the film. The only reason this happens usually is because they set aside some that are just in case people get damages or people cancel orders or a handful of other reasons. The other things that they're putting out, like they've got some slip covers for Sweet Sugar and Spookies and Don't Panic and a couple others that there's only going to be a few of. So if you really want one of those, you're gonna have to check out like immediately when you go into the sale. A lot of those are because they held them for conventions and they just either haven't been going to as many or they haven't sold or what have you. So they're offering it to the community. Again, it's a good thing. Last House on Dead End Street for the Vinegar Syndrome 10th year. Absolutely could be. There's a few from Vinegar Syndrome that they've been hinting at for years that we really need. Intrepidos Punks was one of them. Coonskin. I don't know if they've abandoned that, but they announced that was coming. Oh gosh, I want to say like 2014 or 15, something like that. And where is it? It seems like that's probably canceled. There's a couple others. We're probably going to get some more Cardona here soon now that they've figured out what to do after his death. Yeah, lots from Vinegar Syndrome that they've hinted at that should still be coming. Jeremy, I think what is really beautiful is that the way these comments are flying in, you ain't ever ending the live stream. You have no idea how right you are. I'm going to speak faster so I can reach the end. We need Cube on Blu-ray or 4K. That movie Never Left DVD. I think it has a German release or something that I feel like one just came out recently. Let me take a look at that. I think there was a media book that was supposed to be coming out with a Cube Blu-ray set. Let me see. Cube from 1997, and not that Not that Blu-ray.com is always 100% accurate. I will say that you can get a 15th anniversary Blu-ray edition from the UK, and it's less than £10. In fact, I'm not going to make this promise for him, but you can probably reach out to Mark at Orbit or to Diabolic DVD, and Jesse will probably order it for you if they can get it through their distributor. They'd be happy to. I feel there was a 20th anniversary edition that came out in Australia in 2017. What is the recent one I'm thinking of then? Okay, there was a German release that came out in 2020. Not many others, but yeah, that Blu-ray.com app and the site, really great way to find out if something had been released previously. Oh, I didn't see the second half of that comment. Second Sight, I would love. Oh my gosh, a Cube release from Second Sight would be great. Oh, now you got me excited. KB says, I'll take Nightmare on Elm Street 1. We know there's a 4K transfer. Exactly. I'd like a Blu-ray of 90s horror flick Mute Witness. I've not seen that one. Wait a minute. Somebody just brought this up in a chat recently, I think. Might have been on another video. But yeah, I'd never heard of this film, and I looked it up, and it sounded great. Yeah. DC says, I really want that Scream Factory set. We've all been rumoring about this whole time. I know it's not real, but still, not only is it not real, they've come out and said it's not happening. It's not in the works. It's not something that they are able to do. And I think for this, they can be trusted. I know that they're Blu-ray labels and they're out to make money and all that. However, in this case, it all makes sense. I don't think it's something that is happening at the moment. Let's see. Skolder bought Cube and Cube 2 Blu-rays. Nice. Oh, yeah, we always talk about the devils. That would be mind-blowing. And I think that Warner Archive has kind of hinted that they are at least doing something with it, but it's tough because I don't even know if they could release it in the US, to be honest, with the whole reputation that it has. KB, off topic. Typically, how long? This is an off topic. This is exactly what this is for. How long does imprint orders take? Still waiting for my Black Friday order. The Odd Couple. Don't want to come over and fondle your copy again. It depends. They had their biggest sale they've ever had, and they were super behind. The hard part is once you get that shipping notice, it still takes a while. It still takes. I think at the longest I've had was about 3 weeks from shipped to received. Nowadays it's more like 10 days ish from ship to receive, but it's tough. Imprint, I think that they had stuff that they were selling that they didn't have on hand yet. It was either still at a warehouse or they still were literally being manufactured. So unfortunately they were behind, I think, and still holding on hope that people can get those sooner than later. The rumored Peter Jackson box set. That would make me very happy. I adore Dead Alive. Stan, we need to do more than dinner and a film. We need to do like a few films and at least a dinner and probably a movie and a whole bunch of discussion. Absolutely. There are a lot of people that I met after I went to LA this year that I would have loved to have met in person. And I'm so sad that the relationships just developed after June. It sucks. Are the $10 movies on Vinegar on New Year's only for subscribers? No, not at all. Their webpage kind of makes it look that way. No, it is for everybody. It is basically what I'm assuming, and I've seen some other sites do this before, so don't take this as gospel, but what it sounds like to me is they are going to have 10 films, and probably 3 or 4 of them will be like their old drive-in double features that are only like $12 or $13 on sale, so it's not that much cheaper. A couple might be like the 6-string Samurai VSU and maybe Sensor VSP and maybe a couple blues that still have slips. I think that some of those, like the VSU and the VSP, maybe they put up like 5 copies that are only $10, and then the moment those sell out, they're back to full price. They're sticking to their word. They were offering them, but if you were the most loyal people that went there at launch and could buy them, that's probably the way they're doing that. I don't think it's going to be $10 for 24 hours. That would be insane. But they did say that it's going to be VSUs and VSPs and VSAs and some other titles. So it's going to be cycling in and out every day. I'm sure it's going to be across the spectrum. Some super cheap titles, I just hit the microphone, some more expensive titles. DC says to come to New York. We'll check out oh, that would be amazing. And then Ice is in New York. I need to go see Ice for sure. King Dingling needs to see Anguish from Blue Underground finally get an update. There are a lot of films stuck on DVD that need Blu-ray releases. But honestly, there's still thousands of films stuck on VHS or no releases, and I would love to see those. Every month that Imprint announces something that's a Blu-ray premiere, I'm just happy to see that happen. Let's see. We need a remastered Snake Sisters by Celso and Castillo. Interesting. I don't know the film at all. What else are there? My panic is going to be trying to find the $10 for $10 10 for $10 section when the site goes live. You'll find it quickly. I'm sure they'll be advertising it like crazy. Jeremy Long, can I come with Stan? Nice. Given recent chatter, we should see Cafe Flesh hopefully next year. I'm not confirming that I know information, but I have somebody that is close to the director. And I have a conversation with them coming out in, I think it's 2 weeks. The same week that Celeste conversation is coming out. I have somebody that was heavily involved in the Dr. Caligari release. And I do ask about Cafe Flesh. So we will hear more about that, it sounds like to me, soon. Have you heard anything about the Japanese thriller Under Your Bed? Not a single physical release. I've heard that it's great. Not many people I know have seen it, but I've heard that it's good. That's it. That doesn't help. My mom, I think she's going to bed. Good night, Mom. Mark from Orbit mentioned today that he's going to start doing more YouTube. If you're interested, Mark is going to be doing that. He does Instagram lives a lot. I'll also shout out Grindhouse Video. The transparency that Mike has every single Sunday to go live at 7 p.m. I almost wanted to say his whole spiel for when he goes live. Every Sunday at 7, he does that, 7 o'clock Eastern. Check out Grindhouse Video. They are, right now, I think they're kind of my go-to place for when I want stuff. Love it. How about The Dark Backward on 4K, says Stan? And KB, we talked about this earlier. Who's the killer in Hard Boiled? Absolutely, please. If VS released a VSU of If Looks Could Kill with Richard Greco, they could charge me whatever they want. Don't say that, because they will. Completely agree. Wish older films would get Blu-ray releases. Hush and others. Gotta head to bed. Good night, Zach. This will still be here tomorrow. I love you guys. Foreign Exchange in Culver City is another great disc shop. Nice. If you are in Southern California, Jeremy Long's favorite is CD Trader. He gets some incredible deals. I get like every single week, I get like 9 pictures from Jeremy. So which one of these is worth it? Absolutely. Meander from 2020, a US release would be great. Seeing it on Prime, has Super Cube vibes. Nice. TerraVision for Cafe Flesh. I don't know if that would fit them necessarily, but I mean, they don't have a whole lot to go off of, sadly. Eureka doing 4K now, so I'm gonna have to start importing what the Caligari said. I will say, it is great. It looks wonderful. The Keep on Blue, we've been hearing for years this is impossible. Australia got a DVD upscale Blu-ray, but it's not the same thing. Oh my gosh, I reached the end of the comments. I don't know what to do with my life. All right, everybody. I think this is pretty much it. This has been everything I wanted and more tonight. Being able to have these conversations has been incredible. As I said earlier, email me if you have a question. Email me if you just want to talk. Email me if you need somebody that can I just read that King Deagling comment. Now I gotta highlight that. I'm out like a boner in sweatpants. All right, good night. I am eager to see what comes from this. I appreciate all of you so much. As you watch this or think about it and ruminate on it, give me a comment. Come back to the video, comment, keep the discussion going. Join the Patreon. Let's come discuss this in the Discord. I would love to see some of these comments just keep rolling in, because there's a lot here to unpack, and I know that. My gosh. Last thing I'll shout out again, don't forget there is another stream coming Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern as Vinegar Syndrome goes live for the new year and subscriber year. I can't drag this out any longer. I appreciate you all. This is amazing. Thanks for everything. Thanks for a wonderful year. Justin just said, been killing it this year. Great job. Thank you. Justin, I'm killing it because people like you. I'm glad you're here. That's it, everybody. From one collector to all of you, I hope you've had a great year. I hope that next year is kind to you and your family. I hope that you watch more films next year than you did this year. I hope that you keep a tight leash on your wallet. I hope that this community grows and is inclusive to everybody with every single belief system and outlook on life that you could possibly have, and that we celebrate humanity as a whole. And here's to 2022. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you Sunday.